Chapter 291. At this moment, Leia's voice became even colder, with a hint of arrogance and annoyance. Mother, do you know who you're comparing to me? All right. Mother won't say any more. How can she compare to you? Madame Lei couldn't stop smiling. Early in the morning, Bei Yunj received another international call. She looked at the unknown number displayed and suppressed her anger. Her pair of excessively beautiful eyes were slightly red and cold. She sat in front of the computer and immediately wrote a program. A few minutes later, she programmed the program into her phone and pulled Huashidu and Old Master Qin's phone numbers into the whitelist. As for the others, they would automatically hang up their messages during special times. After she was done, Bei Yunj went to bed without thinking. Delaney's cousin called him, feeling wronged. Brother, Miss Pei isn't picking up my call. Hearing this, Delaney's body trembled. He felt a sense of déjà vu. He suppressed his temper and said, "Can you pay attention to other people's time? Don't you have a brain?" If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have given him Bei Yunj's private number. If he angered Bei Yunj, who would he ask for help? His cousin was speechless from the scolding. In the past, when he had meetings with the people from the branch, he had always used his time as the standard. How could he change this all of a sudden? Anyway, I've already given you her phone number. Whether or not you can hook up with her will depend on your own ability. Speaking of this, Delaney muttered, if he wasn't my son and was her student, he wouldn't have been able to get her private number. Do you understand? His cousin was speechless. I understand. Are you done showing off? If you're done showing off, can you do me a favor? The next day, Bei Yunj woke up early in the morning. It was still because of the continuous ringtone from yesterday that affected her sleep quality. Huashidu had just put down the newspaper when he saw Bei Yunj sitting at the dining table and playing with her phone. She looked like she was immersed in her own world. Seeing this, the man slowly pulled out a chair and sat beside Bei Yunj. On the other hand, Bei Yunj was still throwing documents to Jian Shi to let her understand what she meant just now. Meanwhile, the man's slender hand picked up Bei Yunj's porridge and slowly scooped it up. Before Bei Yunj could react, she suddenly smelled the strong aroma of porridge on her lips. Yin. The man's low and lazy voice sounded slowly. Ah. As soon as Bei Yunj opened her mouth, the man gently fed her a mouthful of porridge. Bei Yunj, this kind of feeding behavior had only happened to Bei Yunj before she was 3 years old. Does it taste good? The man's elegant and noble eyebrows were pleasing to the eye, and his tone was somewhat cynical. Big brother saw that you were so engrossed that he didn't want to wake you up. Bei Yunj looked at the man in front of her who was smiling beautifully and could not lose her temper. She could only take the porridge from his hand and slowly drink it herself. Seeing this scene, Aunt Meow, who had just brought over a plate of side dishes, tried her best to suppress the smile on her lips. Youngsters these days were really romantic. Bei Yunj, who felt Aunt Meow's motherly gaze, was speechless. Hungda. The moment Bei Yunj entered, she felt that the boys in the class seemed to have wilted and were extremely silent. Even Lu Yuanxi and Chu Zhixing were the same. Chapter 292. What's wrong? Bei Yunj returned to her seat while chewing on her candy. Maps of the Gods is on the headlines. Did you see it? Lu Yuanxi asked. No. Bei Yunj's reply was concise. As a gamer, why don't you care about it? Lu Yuanxi did not agree. Bei Yunj, she had removed the logo of the game because she thought it was too ugly. However, Bei Yunj did not intend to say this. Is it a bug? It's not something that can't be solved. Just find someone to fix it. Bei Yunj did not think much of it. Previously, Bei Yunj did not want to take on the job because it did not require much skill. How can it be so easy to control? All the servers are closed now. I heard from the insiders that the bugs are very serious. They are fixed one after another like a bottomless pit. However, some time ago, a guru in the industry discovered it long ago, but the gaming department did not take it seriously and did not admit that there were bugs. Now that the matter has been exposed, the game is full of cheats. Lu Yuanxi was also a little disappointed. For most people, gaming and youth were inseparable. If this game was stopped, which game in the future could guarantee that it would be as good as Maps of the Gods? The gaming department did not do anything. The game skins appear every day, and no one cares about the bugs. Chu Zhixing was also unusually irritable. Bei Yunj did not say anything. She just picked up her iPad. Then, the boys in the row behind also came over and said, however, the gaming department is also taking this matter seriously now. They spent a lot of money to hire technicians to fix it. Why didn't this matter be posted? Ordinary people can't fix it. The higher-ups are watching the technicians and thinking of ways to poach them to fix it. Hearing this, Bei Yunja's fingers stopped moving. She quickly continued with her work. If I find out who can fix it, I will tie him up and fix it. Lu Yuanxi was especially domineering. Bei Yunj glanced at him expressionlessly. This glance made Lu Yuanxi feel an inexplicable chill. Deskmate, are you in a bad mood? Lu Yuanxi lowered his voice. No. Lu Yuanxi, then why did you look like you wanted to fight with me just now? Grade 12 Class 1. A tall girl with cold eyes stood at the door. Leia, why are you looking for me? Qing Zihuai asked as soon as he came out. Rhea quickly smiled. Do you have time to take a walk downstairs with me? Hearing this, Qing Zihuai glanced at Leia and did not refuse. Downstairs, by the flower bed. I haven't seen you in a few years. You've grown a lot taller. Qing Zihuai was also very gentle. I thought that you didn't recognize me. Yes, it's so good that I can't recognize it. Qing Zihuai smiled and said, you must be looking for me for something, right? Yes, there's something I need your help with. I don't know if it's possible. Leia suppressed the joy in her heart and blushed unnaturally. As for the people watching from afar, they didn't know who to envy. Goddess Lei was famous for being cold and aloof in the esports scene. Who would have thought that she would be so shy? However, everyone saw how outstanding Qing Zihuai was. What a perfect match. Tell me, what is it? Of course, I will help you if I can. Hearing Qing Zihuai's words, Leia could not help but smile and look up at him. My stepfather is the person in charge of the game branch of Maps of the Gods. About the bug this time, you should have heard about it. So, I want to ask you for a favor. Chapter 293. But I don't have this technology either. Qing Zihuai froze for a moment. He did not expect Leia to do this. Zihuai, I know you're at the Computing Institute. Can you help me ask who's willing to help? If this matter gets any worse, our family will be in trouble. With that said, Leia bit her lip. Hearing this, Qing Zihuai knew why Leia was looking for him. As an intern, he did have the chance to come into contact with official members, but for them to give him face, this was a little difficult. I can help you ask, but they probably won't be willing to get involved in such matters. Qing Zihuai's eyes were filled with helplessness. I understand. Thank you, Zihuai. Hearing this, Leia heaved a sigh of relief and smiled. At noon, Leia returned to class in a good mood and saw more than 10 letters on the table. Hiding the impatience in her eyes, she stuffed the things into the drawer casually. That must be Leia, right? She's so elegant. Of course. The number one beauty in the God Circle, don't you think she's pretty? The boy giggled. God Circle was the abbreviation for the Maps of the Gods gaming circle. She's just a so-so. Anyway, it's not like I haven't seen that person from Class 7 before, the girl pouted and said sourly. Hearing this, Leia froze. Class 7. Coincidentally, she also knew that there was someone in Class 7. Leia hid the darkness in her eyes and put on her earphones, not thinking about this anymore. That person in Class 7 is a goddess, but only a goddess, the boy said with a sigh. If that person had the ability to be slightly beautiful, She would be someone that people could not take their eyes off. Unfortunately, the heavens were fair. There were gains and losses. This was a principle that would never change. After school. After Leia told Madame Lei that Qing Zihuai had agreed, Madame Lei happily called Mr. Lei and received his approval. "Yaya, did you meet Bei Yunj today?" Mrs. Lei asked. Leia's expression darkened and she closed her eyes, annoyed to hear this name. "I didn't notice." Qin Youjiao had the ability to compete with her, but what did Bei Yunj have to compare to her? So what if she had the Qin family behind her? The Lei family's development was not much worse than the Qin family. "I heard that her results are not good and she even signed up for a physics competition." "Yaya, why don't you go and sign up for one too?" Madame Lei's smile deepened. "I remember that our Yaya won second place in the International Physics Raphael competition." Whatever. Leia did not mind. She was just taking part in another competition. She had never lost in a physics competition since she was young. "That's good. I'll tell the grade director now." At the Computing Institute. Si Qingyan had some impression of Qing Zihuai. His talent was not bad, but he could barely do research. "You want me to help you fix S? S have teat I'm SST." Si Qingyan touched the back of his head and yawned lazily. "Only the two of us are good at covering a wide area. They should know how to fix this thing." Moreover, there was one more that they didn't have. "Who?" Qing Zihuai's eyes moved. "One is our omnipotent inspector, and the other." Si Qingyan paused. "Yes?" Qing Zihuai asked instinctively, but his hands were clenched tightly. Hearing this, Si Qingyan was also very surprised that Qing Zihuai knew this name. But he had to know who this person was. Chapter 294. She was probably going crazy. Si Qingyan thought to himself. "Yes, but she's not ours for the time being." Si Qingyan smiled. He was just short of saying, "But we're about to get her. If you want someone to help, the inspector won't do. He hates things like gaming competitions the most." As for Si Qingyan braced himself and said, "There's a slight possibility, but there's not much hope." With Bei Yunj's temper, she didn't even like the Delaney Corporation, let alone a gaming company. "Then can you give me a way to contact her?" Qing Zihuai hid the dark glint in his eyes. "I don't dare to provoke that ancestor." Si Qingyan spread out his hands in surrender. "That's also our treasure. If you want to try, I can bring you a message." When Qing Zihuai heard this, he did not expect that the Computing Institute would be so secretive about their work. It was obvious how much the Computing Institute treasured this person. "Okay, sorry to trouble you, Professor C. Class 7. Look at the headlines. It's all over the place." The boy took out his cell phone and a few people around him jumped over to take a look. Hashtag maps of the gods disappointment hashtag maps of the gods bug cheat hashtag esports winter hashtag a good game is getting worse and worse. Someone couldn't help but despise. The branch just issued a statement saying that they've asked the headquarters for help. Back then, they said that it was just a slight bug. Now, the game has been stopped for half a month and even the competition has been delayed. My cousin is still a professional player. I don't know what to do now. At this point, many people looked at Bei Yunj, who was sleeping on the table. Master Pei is so magnanimous. She's not worried about her third brother at all. Someone sighed. What's there to worry about? Worried that he'll retire early and go home to inherit billions of assets? Everyone was speechless. Sorry to disturb this damn rich person. Suddenly. Master Pei, Brother Lu is calling for you. The court is short of manpower. The boy leaned against the door and shouted softly. I'm not going. Bei Yunj lazily propped her head up and yawned. Her eyes were red, but she was much more amiable than usual. Brother Lu said that if you win, Master Pei, this week's homework will be his. As soon as he finished speaking. The originally tired person suddenly stood up. Master Pei, you? The boy was shocked. It just so happens that I haven't done my homework today. Bei Yunji's gaze was languid. Her high-spirited eyebrows seemed to be glowing, making it hard for people to look away. She smiled. He had an unbridled youthful aura. Walking on the long corridor, Leia heard the boys talking excitedly. Let's go and watch the school belle play basketball. The campus belle knows how to play basketball. Let's not talk about it anymore. The school team from Class 1 just collapsed. It's Brother Lu's turn to fight with the school belle. Hearing these discussions, Leia's eyes flickered, and she subconsciously walked toward the field. Qin Yojiao was back so soon. She knows how to play. The sun was high in the sky. The green shadows on the sports field were mottled. The sunlight was just right, but the bright and beautiful one was a youth like the wind. Bei Yunji, are you that good at basketball? A thin layer of sweat appeared on Lu Yuanxi's forehead. He had a vague feeling that he was going to inherit his deskmate's homework today. Before today, he would never have thought that his deskmate, who looked as pretty as a porcelain doll, could actually play basketball. I learned a little from a friend. Bei Yunji raised her eyebrows and chuckled. There's still one more round. Student Lu, do you want to continue? At this moment, Leia, who had just walked to the basketball court, could not help but stiffen when she saw Bei Yunji's face clearly. Her legs seemed to be filled with lead and she could not move. P.S. Be good and remember your monthly votes. Chapter 295. It wasn't Qin Yojiao. An inexplicable emotion suddenly surged in Leia's heart and she asked casually. What's the name of that girl playing basketball? As she spoke, Leia stared fixedly at the person on the basketball court. Bei Yunji from Year 2 Class 7. Isn't she beautiful? A young boy smiled and scratched his head shyly. Senior Pei is very famous in our district's high school. Because she's good-looking, people from other schools often come to take a look secretly. Leia stared fixedly at Bei Yunji, her gaze turning colder. She had never thought that Bei Yunji would look like this. She did not look like the cowardly and brainless person in the rumors at all. Senior, you're Lei. Yeah, right? The boy's eyes widened. He had just recognized her when Leia turned around and left. On the way, she bumped into Cheng Zihuai. I heard that Bei Yunji used to pester you. Leia could not help asking when she saw Cheng Zihuai. In the past, she only treated it as a joke. After all, Cheng Zihuai would not be pestered by ordinary girls. But now, hearing this, Cheng Zihuai frowned and his voice turned cold. Why are you mentioning her? After that, Leia had yet to think of what to say. She had just seen Bei Yunji when she heard him say, It's impossible for me to like that kind of self-righteous, ignorant and incompetent woman. Ignorant and incompetent? Leia's eyes flickered and she said slowly, She looks not bad. Apart from that face, how is she not bad? Cheng Zihuai's tone was mocking, but he quickly changed the topic. I've asked the Computing Institute for you. Only 2 members can help. Professor C, who I know, is currently in contact. Really? Thank you, Zihuai. Leia's eyebrows relaxed and she smiled. Now that the Lei family was a nouveau riche, they had the momentum to be on par with the Qin family. However, if this matter was not handled well, it would be serious. I hope she can help. Cheng Zihuai smiled and caressed her head. After school. Before Leia left school, she received a call from Mrs. Lei. Mom, what's wrong? Leia could not live stream during this period of time and her eyes were filled with coldness and irritation. Yaya, something happened at your father's company again. I have a favor to ask of you. Leia stopped in her tracks. How? The maps of the gods have been in the headlines for a long time. Yaya, I heard from the dean that Bei Yunji ranked last in the monthly test. I suggested to your father that we use Bei Yunji and Qin Yojiao's monthly exam as a gimmick to block the hot searches for us. He agreed. Hearing Mrs. Lay's words, Leia frowned unhappily. Can't you just find an artist to release the material? Leia would never do such a thing. That won't do. He's so secretive about the current celebrities. Where would your father find the time to dig them out? If the headquarters were to find out that your father's branch is in such a mess, he would definitely be finished. Madame Lay pleaded anxiously, Yaya, please help your father with this. Hearing that, Leia pursed her lips and looked at the results list not far away. Frustration rose in her heart. She didn't want to get involved in this mess. I know. But, are you sure you can really suppress it? Last month, the Qin family's trending topic was almost the same as the current A-list celebrities. The matter of the Qin family's real and fake young lady has always been a hot topic. Hearing Mrs. Lay say this, Leia pursed her lips and had no choice but to walk towards the results list. Chapter 296. Leia waited until there were fewer people in school before she quickly took a few photos of Qin Youjiao and Bei Yunji's results and rankings. However, unfortunately, Chu Zhixing happened to see Leia acting suspiciously. He did not know what she was doing. Chu Zhixing walked in front of the grade list and thought for a moment. However, he did not expect this matter to involve Bei Yunji. After all, Chu Zhixing did not know about the relationship between Bei Yunji and Leia. Bei Yunji, who had just returned home, glanced at the headlines out of nowhere. The top 3 rankings were all trending topics related to the maps of the gods. She clicked on them and saw that they were all analysis posts about the improper management of the game branch. Bei Yunji looked at it for a few minutes before she turned off her phone and threw it on the bed casually before she went to take a shower. When she was done showering, drying her hair, and coming out to drink water with her phone, she saw several messages. One was from Si Chengyan. The other was from an unknown number. The other 2 were from Chu Zhixing. Bei Yunji clicked on the message sent by Chu Zhixing first. Picture, Master Pei, you're in the headlines again. By the way, Master Pei, I saw what Leia took in front of the grade list today. Do you know her? Could she have done this? Bei Yunji clicked on the screenshot sent by Chu Zhixing. The headlines about the game branch she had seen before had all been taken down. Instead, it was her and Qin Youjiao's monthly exam results. The parent-teacher conference had already passed and this had only happened now. Someone was indeed using her to take the bullet. After Bei Yunji replied to Chu Zhixing, she walked to the computer and checked a few marketing accounts that had taken the lead in exposing the news. Coincidentally, these were all accounts supported by Lay's corporation. Seeing this, Bei Yunji chuckled slowly. Her eyes were bright and lazy, exuding coldness. How dare they? They even dared to use her as a shield. A moment later, Bei Yunji locked onto those marketing accounts and lazily started to organize the evidence of the artistes that the Lay Corporation had used to take the bullet. 20 minutes later, Bei Yunji uploaded a screenshot of the evidence using the marketing account that had used her as a shield. As expected. A few minutes later, the Lay conglomerate and maps of the gods' negative comments jumped to the top. He quickly suppressed Bei Yunji's entry. The number of posts posted was even more than Bei Yunji's post. It was a spectacular and exciting scene for fans of more than 10 popular artists to tear Lay's apart. Lay Corporation, a question every day. Is CEO Lay doing something wrong today? Cute, you're amazing. You're even releasing fake information about your artists when something happened to the game branch? I hope that Lay's group will go bankrupt as soon as possible. F***ck, it's scary when I think about it. Could it be that the headlines in Bei Yunji just now were also, Qin Yu crushed Qin Lang Qin Corporation, come and fight? Not long after. The Qin group reposted a post from a netizen. Qin group, #wishlist of the month #kiss, Little Qin has received your wishlist. Little Qin will work hard. Did Lay's go bankrupt today? Did Lay's go bankrupt today? No, smile, soon, the Qin group also made the headlines. Ha 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 ha, Qin group, give the editor an extra drumstick. This is too good. F***ck, is the Qin group so cute and rich? Fulfilling 10 wishes for fans every month? I love it. Previously, someone even compared the Chin Group to the Lay Corporation. Is the Lay Corporation worthy of Father Chin? Chapter 297. The Lay Corporation and the Chin Corporation seem to be related. It's said that Madame Lay and Madame Chin are biological sisters. This is even more disgusting. She even used her niece to block the bullet. I'm vomiting. Father Chin, charge. There's only half a year left on the Lay Corporation's contract. Get the rights to operate the game branch. The farce online had yet to end. Bai Yunj also saw that the Lay Corporation and the maps of the gods had made the headlines again. She turned off her computer and remembered that she had not read the messages from 2 people. However, Bai Yunj did not expect that when she turned on her phone, she would see 2 people asking her if she wanted to help fix the bug in the maps of the gods. One was Si Qingyan, and the other was the founder of the Maps of the Gods gaming company. She narrowed her eyes and replied unhurriedly. Our nation. What's going on? Why did she reject me? I haven't discussed the remuneration with her yet. The little cousin was extremely anxious. Isn't it reasonable for you to be rejected? Delaney said leisurely as he sat in front of his desk. The little cousin? She's already giving you face by not messing with you, brother, Delaney said faintly. Why? The little cousin was puzzled. He had not offended this Miss Pei. Your gaming branch used Miss Pei to block the bullet in order to block the trending headlines yesterday. The handsome man's face was about to contort. He was so angry that his face turned black. He wished he could go to Country A and strangle the person in charge of the branch. He was licking his face and begging outside. Did this dog know what he was doing? Were they sent by the other party? Miss Pei, is that why you're angry? The little cousin did not dare to face that big boss. Not many people who engaged in scientific research had a normal temper. Miss Pei seems to have dug out the dirt on the person in charge of your branch and sent it to the headlines. The little cousin shuddered. So ruthless. If you want her help, you have to solve the problem of your branch. However, even if you solve it, Miss Pei might not help you, Delaney told the truth. He was even more envious of his son now. At least Bai Yunj had some patience with his students. To them, there was only endless oppression and indifference. But this problem still has to be solved. Back then, when I heard the Lay family's nonsense, I really thought they would do it. I didn't expect them to only know how to make money. He took a deep breath, his expression extremely ugly. If he didn't change the Lay Corporation this time, it would be a waste of his hair that he had been working so hard for the past few days. Perhaps you can try the Chin family. Delaney suddenly said faintly. Why? Miss Pei is the eldest daughter of the Chin family. Delaney smiled at him. Little cousin, what a cunning old fox. Lay family. Lei Guofeng's expression turned ugly. He slammed the table and sneered. You guys are really something. I told you guys to leak other people's information, but you guys even leaked your own information. President Lei, it really wasn't done by our internal staff. Yeah, Xiao Jia called me yesterday and said that he couldn't log into the account. In the end, after about 10 minutes, that account was manipulated and started to leak information about us. Who would have thought that after doing this for so many years, the boat would fail today? So someone is deliberately going against us? Lei Guofeng's expression was terrible. Yes, President Lei, could this be done by the Chin family? Chapter 298. As soon as he finished speaking, there was silence. Due to the impact of this matter, their company's operations were already facing some problems. Furthermore, the one opposing them now was most likely the Chin family. The Lei family was new. Although they looked impressive on the surface, the Chin family had a background that the Lei family could not compare to. Lei Guofeng's face darkened. After the meeting ended, he called Qin Luyan. President Qin, could it be that you did this online? Lei Guofeng thought that he was an elder and immediately questioned him. His attitude was extremely bad. So, President Lei admits that you used my sister to block the bullet? There was no fluctuation in Qin Luyan's tone. His eyes were as gentle as ink, but at this moment, there was a coldness that made one's heart tremble. Lei Guofeng was a little speechless. Then, he shirked responsibility. This was done by the subordinates. I didn't know either. But President Qin, aren't you going overboard by doing this? If such news were to be exposed, it would take half of the Lei family's life. Is that so? Qin Luyan's lips curved, but his eyes were cold. If the headquarters finds out about this, will they let me off? Lu Yan, don't be too ruthless. Uncle, I recorded what you said just now. This will be used as evidence and go through legal procedures. Qin Luyan's words made Lei Guofeng freeze. He did not expect this young man to have such methods. Lu Yan, I'm your uncle. So what? Qin Luyan's tone was filled with mockery as he sneered. You. Qin Luyan curled his thin lips and said in a playful and cold tone, since President Lei can't do this game well, perhaps I can do it for you. Qin Luyan, even if the headquarters change people, they won't choose your Qin family. When Lei Guofeng heard that Qin Luyan was planning to make a move, he panicked. In the past few years, he knew best how much profit he had taken from the maps of the gods. If the management rights of the maps of the gods were not in his hands, the Lei family might have a harder time than before. How would you know if you don't try? Qin Luyan's eyes were filled with mockery. Before Lei Guofeng could say anything, he hung up. A few minutes later, Lei Guofeng really saw his own voice message and the Qin Corporation's public lawyer's letter online. His face was ashen and his pupils constricted. How could this be? The matter of the maps of the gods had yet to be resolved, and now the Qin family was interfering. Class 7. Master Pei, someone is looking for you outside. Bei Yunj raised her eyebrows and walked out. Bei Yunj, did you ask your brother to do it? Leia's usually cold and arrogant eyes were filled with resentment. Her eyes were red, and she looked like she could not hold it in. Bei Yunj did not intend to answer her question. Instead, she sneered and looked straight at her with a pair of bright and charming eyes. You're the one who spread my results, right? Leia froze. So, does the Lei family have the right to question me? Bei Yunj's words made Leia's face turn red and white. She clenched her fists and gritted her teeth. So what? Are those results of yours shameful? You don't have to worry about this matter, Lei Tongxue. Student Lei, if you're free, you should see when the Lei family will be finished. Bei Yunj raised her eyebrows, full of laziness and playfulness. This made Leia grit her teeth. Leia clenched her fists and looked at Bei Yunj's back view. In the end, she ran out. That's impossible. As long as the bug could be fixed, the headquarters would not really deal with them. Chapter 299. Leia bumped into Qing Zihuai on the way. Zihuai. Leia looked at Qing Zihuai hopefully. Did everyone at the computing company agree? It can be any amount. Did you tell them? Leia, I'm sorry. There are indeed 2 people in the computing company who can do it. One is Elder Zhong, and the other is someone I've interacted with before. Qing Zihuai said in a low voice, but she's not willing. Hearing this, Leia held Qing Zihuai's hand. Zihuai, tell me, who is that person? I'll go find her. Although Lei Guofeng was her stepfather, he treated her very well and almost treated her as his biological daughter. Therefore, Leia did not want anything to happen to the Lei family. She is, but you won't be able to find her. The computing company values her very much and keeps her a secret. Qing Zihuai looked helpless. She even took on a 10 billion yuan project some time ago. Do you think you can persuade such a person? Is there really no chance at all? Leia felt cold all over. If that was the case, her status in the socialite circle would plummet. I'm sorry, that person didn't agree. Qing Zihuai sighed. At the hospital. Bei Yunj was peeling an apple slowly when she glanced at old Master Qin on the bed. "Grandpa, who are you calling?" She had heard old Master Qin asking people if they knew anyone who was good at computing the whole morning. "I'm calling my friend from before." Old Master Qin's face darkened. "It's all because of your third brother. Because of the delay of the competition, he's completely dispirited and useless. I want to find someone to help fix that bug." Bei Yunja's eyes darkened and she slowed down her peeling of the apple. However, seeing Bei Yunj peel the apple without looking at it, old Master Qin was so scared that he almost had a heart attack. "Io, little ancestor, put it down. I already said that you don't need to peel it. What if you hurt your hand? Didn't you not want him to play games?" Bei Yunj asked deliberately. Was this granddaughter here to slap him in the face all day long? Old Master Qin's face was cold. "Of course. Look at your third brother. He doesn't pay attention to his health when he's playing games. Day and night are reversed every day. Do you think I'll agree to that? But for this competition, he's completely dispirited. As his grandfather, how can I stand it? Don't bother looking for it. It's time for a nap, Grandpa." Bei Yunj handed it to old Master Qin. "Eat and sleep." Old Master Qin, he was being taken care of by his granddaughter like a child. "Maybe they can solve it themselves in the next 2 days, Bei Yunj said casually. Grandpa doesn't want to give them a chance to redeem themselves. Last time, old Master Qin had also received a call from Madame Lei, scolding Qin Lian for his evil deeds. However, when old Master Qin found out about this, it was because Madame Lei had used Bei Yunj as a shield. It was as if a barrel of explosives had been detonated. Madame Lei was so angry that she could not say a word and hung up the phone. Bei Yunj's lips curved, but there was no smile in her eyes. "Indeed, I shouldn't have given it to you." At night, Bei Yunj had just turned on her phone when she saw a few sincere greetings from the founder of the game company. "Miss Pei, did you have a good meal today? I'm apologizing to you for what the branch did. Currently, I'm preparing to terminate the contract with the Lei Corporation. I hope to receive Miss Pei's forgiveness. Miss Pei, as long as you're willing to help, the remuneration is definitely sincere. Just mention it." Chapter 300. Bei Yunj raised her eyebrows and glanced at it casually. She seemed to have thought of something and her fingers moved slightly. "Okay. Send the information over." At this moment, the person who had not woken up saw Bei Yunj's reply on his phone and woke up. She agreed. She finally agreed. Then, the man reacted and hurriedly got out of bed. After changing his clothes, he went straight to the company to get the information. It was as if he was afraid that Bei Yunj would go back on her word. So, that night in Country A, the official account of the Maps of the Gods headquarters posted a status. E.G. Group, Maps of the Gods headquarters. Thank you, everyone, for your love and concern for the Maps of the Gods. The Maps of the Gods represents the youth and passion of countless people. It will continue to be passed down to every generation. The headquarters is deeply sorry for this mistake and will deal with all the mistakes as soon as possible. We have also asked Miss for help. Heart. When this message was released, many people who were waiting for the follow-up exploded. "Ah, it's the headquarters daddy. The headquarters daddy knows. Deal with all the mistakes. Ha ha ha, please explain. Does it include the Lei family? Dog head, I'm so ignorant. I know this problem. She's a new member of the Institute of Computational Technology in Country R. Everyone may not be familiar with this name, but everyone must know about the 10 billion research project. The most expensive woman in the scientific research field has appeared. Dog head, damn. So it's her. As expected of the headquarters daddy, she's too rich. However, because this name was unfamiliar to everyone, there were also people who doubted it. Let me ask weakly, can you really solve this problem? I heard that the branch has also found more than 100 technical staff in this area. Brothers, don't worry. She can do it. Awesome. I don't want to popularize it, but if you're worried, you can go to the literature website to look her up. After this person appeared, my thesis became much easier to write. In the months since she appeared, there have been more than 40 high-quality theses. Our dean brings the teachers to meetings every day to discuss it. Who doesn't say that she's a god? Dog head, she's here to fix bugs for you? I'm jealous. Isn't this asking a god to pluck carrots for you? It's too much of a waste of talent. But to be able to invite him, the headquarters is also very impressive. So, I'll be able to play Lord God in a few days, right? Rubbing hands nervously, the rapid change in public opinion was beyond everyone's expectations. Leia was stunned when she saw the message. Didn't Zihui say that she didn't agree to his request? Then, why would he be invited by the headquarters? Leia's eyes dimmed as she clenched her fists. At night, Bei Yunj, who was sitting in front of the computer, unwrapped a lollipop and slowly crushed it. She had just finished reading all the information about maps of the gods and checked the game. There were indeed many bugs. But it seemed to have been deliberately damaged. Bei Yunj didn't think too much about it. She started to fix the flaws in the game and installed 2 more modes into the system. An hour later, she finished the tedious process. It was done. Bei Yunj sent it to the game company's founder. It's fixed. I also modified the safe mode and positioning mode for you guys. You can track the intruder. Those who received the news froze. So fast? What's so fast? Delaney asked. His cousin looked up at him, still in disbelief. She fixed it in an hour. P.S. Be good and remember the monthly votes. Chapter 301. Delaney was silent for a while before she suddenly sneered and cut the steak on the plate angrily. Isn't it fast? Last time, I spent 1 billion yuan on a project. My son said that his teacher spent a month and only finished half of it. This vampire. Brother, don't say that in front of Miss Pei. After the little cousin finished speaking, he called Bei Yunj. At this moment. As soon as the call went through, Delaney's tone was nasty. What's wrong with talking about her? The patent is sold by the year and it's so expensive. Aren't you afraid of being punished by the heavens? At the same time. The little cousin froze. Before he could stop him, he heard a voice on the phone. Is it Delaney? Her voice was lazy and there was a faint smile on her face. The little cousin did not dare to speak and only silently put the phone on speaker. Is she doing a good job in her project? She is. After that, Delaney, who was still spouting nonsense, was interrupted by a familiar voice. He's scolding me behind my back, right? The moment Bei Yunj's voice was heard, Delaney froze. Her twisted and ferocious expression seemed to be frozen. Brother, don't move. Before the little cousin could finish speaking, Delaney snatched the phone away fiercely. Don't you know how well you did your project? Do you still want me to make it clear? Delaney suddenly whispered, of course it's expensive if it's done well. It's only right. The little cousin was speechless. This was the first time he saw someone use the most arrogant tone to say the most cowardly words. The other end of the phone was silent for a while. Vic, other than the bug, I've also set up a new area for the high-end challenge mode you mentioned last time. After Bei Yunj finished speaking, she smiled lazily. Otherwise, it would be embarrassing to take so much money from you for fixing a bug. Delaney. Vic was speechless. She was actually embarrassed. However, after the call ended, Vic returned to the company to check the game system and Bei Yunj's new mainland module. He felt that the money was worth it. The big boss was indeed the big boss. Even the game design was shocking. Although it was only a model, it could be released very quickly. However, not long after Vic marveled at Bei Yunj's handiwork, problems quickly arose. Boss, we can't pass this high-end challenge. I've been challenging for the entire afternoon. What's going on? Soon, Vic called Bei Yunj again and told her about it. Can't pass the challenge? That's impossible. My record is still on the scoreboard. It's not difficult. With that, Bei Yunj hung up the phone. When Wake heard this, he really went to check the rankings. High-level challenges were very difficult, so the experience, credit points, and equipment were the highest. Thus, Vic saw the first place, get all the points and equipment. As for the staff members under him, they all got single-digit points. Vic, who would believe her? The next day. E.g. Corporation, Maps of the Gods headquarters, sorry for the wait. Maps of the Gods is officially open for business. Thank you, miss, for taking the time to help Maps of the Gods get through this difficult time. At 8:00 in the morning, the Maps of the Gods made the headlines again. However, the headline this time was, #Maps of the Gods. The comments section was filled with enthusiasm. Ah, how long has it been since the official announcement? It's already fixed the next day. Ha 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 ha, am I the only one who noticed the busy time? It seems very simple, dog head. Chapter 302. The money came too quickly. It went into my pocket in an instant. There are so many kind people in this world. Why else would so many people give me money so enthusiastically? Dog head, ha ha ha, the person above is too much. Can't you feel sorry for the headquarters? But to be honest, it feels so cute. What a god. The bug was fixed in one night. Goodbye, big boss. I just want to know. Is it really expensive? Is the headquarters okay? Ha 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 ha, e.g. Corporation, Maps of the Gods headquarters. The heated discussion did not last long. The main character finally responded. E.g. Corporation, Maps of the Gods headquarters, expensive? Who's talking nonsense? Picture. The picture sent by the headquarters was of a fat orange hugging an empty wallet tightly and crying extremely sadly. Funny and humble, fat and weak. The netizens were about to burst out laughing. Ha 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 ha, I suddenly want to be a fan. What a wonderful woman. 47 documents that have not been copied are not worthy of being a fan. Dog head, there is no bug in this world that cannot be solved. If there is, it must be because you did not give enough. Dog head, the night was dark. The bedroom was eerily silent. In the dark space, a door stood in front of her. A faint light shone through the gap of the door. Then, a slender white hand, completely uncontrolled by her consciousness, pushed the door open again with slight trembling tiredness. Suddenly, a scream sounded in the beautiful bungalow. Hanging by the living room window was a beautiful and elegant woman. Blooming camellias were embroidered on the hem of her dress. However, her body was already cold. She appeared in front of her lifelessly. The woman who was usually gentle and loved to smile had died silently. The scene changed. The woman's students and relatives rushed over. Why did teacher Meng Liang hang herself? Everyone was feeling sorry for the death of a genius. Teacher Meng Liang is gone. What will happen to Gu in the future? Yes, why did it have to be today? Today is Gu's birthday. That person found it difficult to speak. However, he did not notice that the girl with her head lowered was slowly crumpling the letter in her hand. I heard that it was because Boss Pei remarried. Boss Pei's second daughter is about the same age as Gu. That was why teacher Meng Liang and Boss Pei had a fight. They're about the same age. Isn't this the same as having an affair back then? What's more, teacher Meng Liang has been waiting for Boss Pei to change his mind all these years. Stop talking, Gu is still here. Everyone noticed that the girl, who usually looked delicate and bright, was standing by the bedroom door without saying a word. She was too quiet. No one could tell if he was happy or angry. Someone said in fear, could it be that all geniuses are abnormal? After saying this, everyone's expression changed. They subconsciously looked at Bei Yunj and took a step back in fear. Are all geniuses lunatics? The scene in front of his eyes disappeared, leaving behind only emptiness and darkness, oppressing his heart. Suddenly, the girl on the bed clenched her fists so tightly that they dug into her flesh. She suddenly opened her eyes. Her eyes were still cold and bloodshot, and there was a thin layer of sweat on her forehead. A short while later, Bae-yunj came back to her senses and looked at the glaring bloodstain on her palm, but her expression remained calm. No wonder. It was almost her death anniversary. Bae-yunj got off the bed and went to the bathroom to wash away the bloodstain. Then, she went downstairs to get a glass of water. The moonlight outside was hazy, but it was a gentle color. Bae-yunj sat by the sofa and drank her iced water slowly. Chapter 303. The night was getting colder. The person sitting on the sofa rested her head with one hand. There was no fluctuation in her eyes as she quietly looked at the trees outside that were occasionally swayed by the wind. The sky was bright. Hwashidu had just gone downstairs when he saw the girl sleeping on the sofa. Her long black hair was scattered casually, and her eyebrows were slightly furrowed uneasily. There was a faint redness in her eyes. The man's indifferent gaze stopped on Bae-yunj as he stood in front of her. Why was she sleeping here? After a while, he approached Bae-yunj and loosened his tie with his slender and well-defined hands. He bent one knee slightly and looked at the little girl who was sleeping uneasily. Yun, Hwashidu's gaze darkened. He was about to stand up when the sleeping person suddenly hugged his strong waist. Hwashidu was caught off guard and was pulled over by the little girl. He subconsciously supported himself with one hand on the sofa, afraid that he would wake her up. The man could not help but laugh. His deep and magnetic voice inadvertently teased her eardrums. Child, are you a hooligan? Master Du, Tsing-su, who had come to fetch Hwashidu, happened to see this exciting scene. From Tsing-su's perspective, the little vixen's hands were still tightly hugging Master Du's waist. Master Du looked like he could not resist this temptation and had already pressed the little vixen down on the sofa. It was not good to be like this early in the morning, right? Tsing-su's body stiffened. He felt that he knew too much. Hwashidu noticed Tsing-su behind him and glanced at him calmly. Go and apply for sick leave from Mississippi. With that said, Hwashidu turned around and slowly pulled Bae-yunj's hands away from his waist. He even chuckled and coaxed her. Yun, don't hug me when you're asleep. Hug me when you wake up. I'll take you to sleep, okay? Perhaps because she heard Hwashidu's voice, Bae-yunj woke up a little. She let go of her hands that were hugging him and opened her eyes slightly. She watched as the man placed her hand on his neck, circled around her legs, and lifted her up easily. Brother. Bae-yunj suddenly shouted and consciously rubbed against Hwashidu's neck before closing her eyes. However, the man's entire body froze from this nudge. The numbness on his neck made his throat move unconsciously. A certain someone who saw this scene, Tsing-su looked at Hwashidu's back view as he carried the girl upstairs. For a moment, he suddenly understood how the virtuous officials in ancient times felt when they learned that the king did not attend court. Wasn't he doting on Miss Pei too much? Asking for leave from school. If it was the little young master, would Master Do not throw him out? A few minutes later, Tsing-su had just made a phone call to Bae-yunj to ask for leave when a low voice came from upstairs. Bring me the medical kit. Why was it so intense last night? Could it be that Master Du had a special interest in tormenting Miss Pei on purpose? This was too inhumane. Then what's the use of this medical box? Just as Tsing-su was hesitating whether he should find a private female doctor, he had already taken the things upstairs. In Hwashidu's bedroom, the girl was lying on the bed while the man was holding an alcohol swab and gently disinfecting her wound. Then, he slowly bandaged her wound. Seeing this scene, Tsing-su realized that he had misunderstood. Miss Pei, why are you injured? Tsing-su asked softly. Hwashidu's gaze darkened and he glanced at Bae-yunj. The back of his fingers caressed her cheek casually. Chapter 304. Master Du, should we go to the company first? Aunt Meow is still outside. Besides, Miss Pei probably didn't sleep last night. Go back to the company first and inform them of the video conference. Tsing Su was speechless. This was indeed the outcome. The company was gradually not as important as Miss Pei. Lei Corporation. President Lei, the headquarters of the Maps of the Gods, sent a message. They want to terminate our contract and sue us. Hearing this, Lei Guofeng's expression changed. What? He was the one who was most afraid of having his contract terminated. He had gained so much from the Maps of the Gods, so how could he let go of this fat piece of meat so easily? At the moment, no one knows about this, right? Lei Guofeng rubbed his temples tiredly. The person who spoke paused and his voice became even softer. The headquarters of the Maps of the Gods has been actively contacting the Qin Corporation recently. The meaning of these words was self-evident. Qin Corporation? Lei Guofeng's expression was terrible. If they did not know the people from the Qin Corporation, why would the headquarters contact them personally? This Qin Luyan is really amazing. Lei Guofeng gritted his teeth. After the meeting ended, Lei Guofeng called Madame Lei, hoping that she would go to the Qin family and have a good talk. Hengda High School. Year 2 Class 1. Leia, I heard that you're the eldest daughter of the Lei family. Will the Lei Corporation be held accountable by the headquarters? Someone asked. Hearing this, Leia stopped writing and looked at her. She smiled and said, No, don't worry. You don't have to worry about such things. Instantly, the girl was embarrassed. I didn't mean that. I was just concerned about you. Leia turned around again and looked down at the question. She smiled and said, I'm fine, and I don't need anyone to care about me. Why don't you care about yourself? Hearing this, the girl's face turned pale. She could only say something casually and run away. Seeing this, Leia's lowered eyes were still cold, but the knuckles of her hand that was holding the pen turned white. Until Qing Zihuai came to look for Leia personally. The two of them were by the corridor. Leia, I'm sorry. I did contact him, but I didn't expect, in the end, he agreed to the headquarters. Leia looked at Qing Zihuai and asked casually, Zihuai, how's your relationship with her? Qing Zihuai's body stiffened. He clenched his fists and smiled. I was rejected by her. I thought she would give me some face, but perhaps, Japan's Computing Institute asked her to do so. After all, she is not a member of the Computing Institute. I see. At first, Leia's heart was stifled. She thought that Qing Zihuai was deliberately not saying anything because he wanted to help the Qin family watch the Lei family make a fool of themselves. This matter was resolved by the headquarters. Will your branch be affected? Qing Zihuai's question made Leia stop holding the water bottle. Actually, everyone knew that since it was the headquarters that did it, the Lei family would definitely be affected. I don't know what will happen this time. Besides, the Qin family has already fallen out with my father because of Bei Yunj. Leia clenched her fists and said, I was the one who posted Bei Yunj's results. Qing Zihuai looked at Leia's expression and was a little surprised. He did not expect Leia to admit it so frankly. It's okay. You just want to help your father. A dark glint flashed across Qing Zihuai's eyes. However, this matter might be resolved. In the hospital. Chapter 305. Because when Madame Lei was complaining to Old Master Qin Luyan happened to bump into her. The moment Madame Lei saw Qin Luyan, she wanted to make a move. However, she did not expect to be thrown out of the hospital by Qin Luyan's bodyguards. She even sent a message to the hospital that no one was allowed to visit Old Master Qin. This time, the Lei family completely hated the Qin family. Just after noon, Bei Yunj woke up and saw the man who was dealing with his emails in the room. Brother? She got up and realized that she had slept in Huashidu's room again. This month, she no longer needed to change rooms with Huashidu to fall asleep. But coincidentally, Meng Ying's death anniversary was coming again. Every year at this time, she would need to rely on medicine to relieve her mental stress. She did not expect to sleep so peacefully at Hwashidu's place again. "You're awake? Did you have a nightmare yesterday?" Hwashidu's gaze swept across her bandaged hand. When Bei Yunj was about to get out of bed, she realized that her hand had been bandaged. "Brother, my hand." The man's eyes were clear and abstinent. His light and lazy voice had a seductive smile as he asked frivolously, "Why?" "Yin fell asleep and found trouble with me." "Are you planning to find trouble with me when you wake up?" Bei Yunja's heart skipped a beat. She felt that this man's words did not seem to mean what he said on the surface. "Brother, what did I do when I was asleep?" Bei Yunj asked calmly. Why didn't she remember that she could sleepwalk? "I didn't do anything." Hearing this, Bei Yunja's heart was relieved. Then, she heard the man's last syllable. It was flirtatious and ambiguous, making her blush and her heart race. "You're quite passionate towards me." Bei Yunj changed the topic without changing her expression. "Thank you for bandaging my wound, brother." "You heartless girl." The man curled his lips imperceptibly and said lightly. After that, Bei Yunj had just gotten out of bed and went to her room to get her phone when she saw a message from Si Qingyan. "The people from the Lei clan have come looking for you. They hope that you can plead on their behalf. They don't even know that what they want has already been used as a shield. They've offended them to the core. How is it? Humiliate him, reject him, and ravage him?" Bei Yunja's eyelids twitched as she felt Si Qingyan's excitement. "Who hooked him up and told you to ask me?" "Soon," Si Qingyan replied. "You should know Qing Zihuai. He has been looking for you all this time and wants you to accept him as your student." Bei Yunj raised his eyebrows. After replying to Si Qingyan, he did not look at his phone again. "Got it. Next time, you don't have to pass on his message anymore." A few days passed. The headquarters of the game directly announced the cooperation with the Qin Corporation and promoted the new world of the game. This made the netizens excited. "I heard that the new world is a high-end challenge. Even the rich players will be restricted." Thus, everyone clicked into the new world with excitement and beautiful fantasies. 2 hours later. The people who came out were all reported under the game headquarters' official announcement. "A high-end challenge? Are you sure it's not a hell challenge? I played for an hour and only passed the first level. What are they doing? I want to ask, who is the designer of this thing? Did he pass the level himself?" Smile. Not long after, someone weakly sent a screenshot. "I seem to have discovered something incredible." Picture. Everyone clicked on the picture and saw a screenshot of the rankings. The first and second place were already separated by a cliff. First place. Chapter 306. Suddenly. Everyone seemed to know who had created this new continent. Not long after, the gaming headquarters confirmed their guess. E.g. Corporation, Maps of the Gods headquarters. Miss gave everyone a gift. Have fun, heart, in the comments section. Take it away. I don't want it. Sob 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 sob. Look, our big boss is so polite. Cover mouth and tear. JPG, why are you guys so fat? You don't even want free points? Dog head, when I was playing games in class just now, I was caught by the professional teacher. I told him that this was designed. I didn't expect the teacher to play it too. You didn't expect that the second place was obtained by my teacher using my account. Dog head, ha ha ha, there are more strange teacher-student activities. Dog head, no one expected that because this game board was designed, it would attract the interest of many big shots in the computing field. Yunqing University's School of Information Engineering, take a look at the results of our dean and professor. Don't hesitate, come and apply. Dog head, picture, Research Institute, Zhongxinglin, second place, Bill, picture, Beichuan University, application for battle, picture. Seeing the results of the big shots, the netizens' hearts twitched. Ah, they're all big shots. Ha 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 ha. True fire. The top of the computing field. How can this group of people be good at mathematics and games? Smile, we're both from the computing department, but my dean can't pass. He's been playing for the entire afternoon. It seems like he's not going to return my account. Goodbye, at the hospital. Bei Yunj had just walked into the ward when she saw the old man in a dark blue outfit. He was in high spirits. How's this outfit? Is it okay? It looks good. Mr. Qin nodded. Bei Yunj glanced at Mr. Qin and asked casually, Grandpa, what are you doing? Silly girl, isn't your birthday in a few days? Grandpa has to choose a new set of clothes so that he can go to your birthday party. Bei Yunj subconsciously paused and chuckled. There's no need to be so high profile. There's no need for that. Our Qin family's precious first miss can't be wronged. Old Master Qin frowned and disagreed. Bei Yunj narrowed her eyes. After a moment of silence, she smiled and said, All right, I'll listen to you. This time, we'll hold the birthday party at the old mansion. We'll invite all our old friends from the circle. Let everyone know that Gu is the eldest daughter of the Qin family. Old Master Qin had been unconscious on Bei Yunj's birthday the last 2 times, so he had missed it. Dad, then Yo Jiao. Before Father Qin could finish, Old Master Qin interrupted him coldly. If you want her to come to the Qin family for her birthday, then you're dreaming. A few days ago, Old Master Qin was told by Qin Luyan about what Qin Yojiao had done to Bei Yunj online. Therefore, even the last bit of affection he had for Qin Yojiao was completely gone. Mr. Qin's expression was ugly and he could not help but glance at Bei Yunj. He was afraid that Bei Yunj would look at him with that disappointed gaze. However, when he looked at her, he realized that Bei Yunj had never treated him like he existed. Mr. Qin's lips moved. I didn't mean to let Jiao Jiao steal your limelight. It's mainly. Chapter 307. Mr. Qin. Bei Yunj looked up slowly, her eyes expressionless. But this time, Mr. Qin's body stiffened, and he stopped talking. Previously, he had also felt that Bei Yunj would not take the initiative to act cold because of the old master. But now, the old master was still around and Bei Yunj was already acting a little impatient. Are you angry? Mr. Qin's eyes darkened. It's only right for you to dote on your daughter. But I can't get along with your daughter. I hope you know what you're doing. Bei Yunj's calm words made Mr. Qin's expression change and his face burn. He did not dare to look up at Bei Yunj again. After saying a few words to the old master, he left in a hurry. Do you think your father? Before old Master Qin could ask, he was interrupted by Bei Yunj. Grandpa, do you want to change to a red one to add some joy to your granddaughter? Old Master Qin was speechless. No, he refused. At the same time, old Master Qin could not help but sigh. How could he not tell that compared to the 3 little ones, Bei Yunj did not have a good impression of Mr. and Mrs. Qin at all. In school, Leia was in a bad mood, so Cheng Zihuai accompanied her around the campus. I watched your recording last time. It's not bad. You seem to have a lot of male fans, Cheng Zihuai teased deliberately. Leia's expression was not too good, but she forced a smile and said, There aren't many girls in the esports scene. I heard that you're interested in joining Qin Lang's club. Hearing this, Leia's eyes turned cold and she pursed her lips. I used to want to, but forget it now. Back then, she had used many methods to get in, but Qin Lang's club had too high a requirement and she could not be hired by Team 2. As for now, the Qin family was already discussing with the headquarters of the Maps of the Gods. How could she still be willing to interact with the Qin family regarding the jurisdiction of the branch in the future? Cheng Zihuai's eyes darkened. Before he could speak, he heard the discussion in front. I heard that Qin Yojiao received an invitation to the Nearly 18 debutante ball. Is this true? Of course, it's already at the top of the headlines. It was also personally acknowledged by Mrs. Chin. The girl who had been silent all this while couldn't help but ask, "Isn't this just a socialite ball? What happened? Are you stupid? Neely is the capital of our nation, and the Neely 18 Socialite Ball is an annual event. The socialites invited come from all over the world. Only those with both looks and talent are qualified to participate." So powerful? Then if Qin Yojiao goes, she will definitely get to know the top socialites? The girl, who had been talking about science, said arrogantly, "Of course it's amazing. A ball of this level was something that ordinary people would never be able to witness in their entire lives." However, Qin Yojiao rejected him. She said that she wanted to celebrate her birthday in Yuncheng and couldn't go. Hearing this, the two girls beside her also became excited. Birthday celebration? Since her birthday is the same as Bei Yunji's, wouldn't the 2,000 gold coins be at odds with each other? I think so too. Previously, I thought that Qin Yojiao was going to make a fool of herself, but I didn't expect her to get an invitation to the Neely Ball after leaving the Qin family. She's really amazing. Since she could get an invitation from Neely and even gave it up personally, she must have a bargaining chip. Then Bei Yunji is going to be slapped hard in the face this time. The girl could not help covering her mouth and laughing. It seems like no one took her seriously after she returned to the Qin family. She would rather be a fake young lady and ignored her. Chapter 308. If it were me, I wouldn't care about Bei Yunji either. She came to our school and I don't see how she's good. She's just a hooligan who got lucky. The girl snorted. The two people listening behind had their own thoughts. Leia's blood seemed to have frozen. In the past, she thought that she was only a little worse than Qin Yojiao. She thought that Qin Yojiao could no longer compare to her after leaving the Qin family. But now, suddenly, Cheng Zihuai smiled gently. I didn't expect Jiao Jiao to be so capable. She even got an invitation to the Neely 18 debutante ball. Leia's cold voice stiffened. But this ball has never invited the socialites of our country before. Besides, even if she was the biological young lady of the Qin family, she was not the top socialite in the country and was not qualified to enter such a ball. That's why Jiao Jiao is amazing. She always has a way to make people look at her differently. Cheng Zihuai patted Leia's shoulder with a smile, in a good mood. However, Yaya, you're very capable too. Hearing this, Leia could not squeeze out a smile on her face. Was that why Qin Yojiao would always be someone who could not be forgotten? Only she could be the center of attention? Class 7. Lu Yuanci played the maps of the gods and could not help sighing. She's really a beast. She can actually make such a setting. The moment he finished speaking, the back of Lu Yuanci's head was slapped by his deskmate. Lu Yuanci was speechless. Why were these women so fond of the back of his head? Why did you hit me? I hope you can say something reasonable. Bei Yunji's cold gaze swept over him. After a while, Lu Yuanci regained his senses and his eyes lit up. Deskmate, are you a fan of? Bei Yunji said. No. You're still pretending? If she's not your idol, what's wrong with me scolding her? This is a good game, but she made it like this. Shouldn't you scold her? Before Lu Yuanci could finish speaking, he shut up silently when he felt his deskmate's murderous gaze. She was clearly a fan, but she didn't let him say it. Lu Yuanci's eyes were accusing. You don't know how to play, Bei Yunji corrected him. Lu Yuanci smiled faintly. Heh, if I don't know how to play, who does? No one knows it better than me, okay? Bei Yunji did not waste any time. She took Lu Yuanci's phone and restarted the game. Seeing this, those who had not seen Bei Yunji playing maps of the gods before gathered around. In the end, Bei Yunji cleared all the levels in less than 20 minutes. The total points were the same as full marks. Everyone? There's really someone who can clear it. The boy behind had an indescribably complicated feeling. Lu Yuanci was petrified. He had been playing for so many days, but he still hadn't entered the top 100. He was stuck in the low-scoring circle. This time, he suddenly rose to second place. Many people came to ask him about it. Some asked for instructions on how to operate it, while others asked him to guide them. Lu Yuanxi's face was full of vulgarities. He was considering whether he could continue playing with this full score account. Look, it won't take long. You have to play seriously, the person sitting next to him said in a gentle and serious manner. Everyone, ? Listen, was this something a human would say? They had been playing for so many days. Was this not serious enough? After saying that, Bei Yunj could not help but frown. She was a little unhappy that the maps of the gods' headquarters had secretly lowered the difficulty of her game. If she had not tried it just now, she would not have known about this. Chapter 309. Before Bei Yunj could settle the score with Vic, Chu Zhixing suddenly patted her shoulder from behind. Master Pei, what will you do for your birthday? Eat cake. Bei Yunj did not know what kind of birthday cake could be, so she said, if you want to eat it, I'll send you an address. Okay. Chu Zhixing's eyelid twitched. This person seemed to think that he was going to her birthday because he wanted to eat cake. I want to go too. Lu Yuanxi said immediately. I should have invited the Lu family. Bei Yunj played with her iPad slowly. At this moment, Chu Zhixing looked at Bei Yunj and said, I heard that Qin Youjiao was invited to the Nearly 18 debutante ball. She rejected it and plans to celebrate her birthday in Yuncheng. Nearly 18 debutante ball? After Bei Yunj asked, Chu Zhixing explained to her. Is there anything special about this ball? Bei Yunj raised an eyebrow. Lu Yuanxi smirked. Yes, the male partner arranged for the ball in Nili is either the young and handsome prince of our country or the young master of a prestigious family. This was also a large-scale social gathering in the top circle. I see. Bei Yunj was not interested and her eyes were lazy. It seems like she likes to celebrate birthdays. Everyone was speechless. Lu Yuanxi could not take it anymore. She likes to celebrate birthdays? She's planning to suppress you. Do you know what you're doing, Master Pei? Bei Yunj glanced at him. Haven't you always liked Qin Youjiao? Now, he was the first to say that Qin Youjiao was bad. That's just admiration. It can't be compared to friendship. Lu Yuanxi muttered, besides, this is the past. Bei Yunj raised an eyebrow. She did not expect Lu Yuanxi to end his career as a spare tire in this lifetime. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Bei Yunj was rushing to finish the project in her hands and only wanted to complete her first project as soon as possible. Suddenly, Lu Yuanxi understood the meaning of, the emperor is not anxious, but the eunuch is. Jiao Jiao, I've discussed your birthday with your Aunt Cheng. We'll celebrate it with the Cheng family. Mrs. Qin said happily. Qin Youjiao smiled. I'll listen to Mom's arrangements. This time, it's really all thanks to the invitation to the Nili ball. Otherwise, it's hard to say if Madame Cheng would have agreed. Mother Qin was curious. Jiao Jiao, how do you know the people over there? Why did they send you an invitation? A dark glint flashed across Qin Youjiao's eyes. She tilted her head and smiled. Mom, didn't many seniors come to my piano concert last time? It seems that many people overseas like my new piece too. So it's those seniors. Mother Qin nodded. To be honest, even Mother Qin was shocked when she saw an invitation to a ball of this level. That was why the Qing family ignored Qin Youjiao's true identity and understood her current value. To be able to attend such a ball, it meant that she had connections in the top circle. If he wanted to climb up, how could he not have something like this? After so many years, didn't the Qing family want to rise to the next level? Mom, don't worry. I'll work hard in the future. When you're old, I'll be filial to you, Qin Youjiao said seriously and firmly. She also understood Mrs. Qin's love and care for her. Good child, Mom only wants you to be good. Mrs. Qin smiled and caressed her head. The Qing family will be helping you this birthday. Don't worry, it won't be worse than that person. Besides, there will be a heavyweight attending your birthday party. P.S. Be good and remember the monthly ticket. Chapter 310. Besides, the people in the industry were not stupid. Between Bei Yunj and Qin Youjiao, would they know who not to choose? 2 days before Bei Yunj and Qin Youjiao's birthday was on the same day, a piece of news suddenly appeared on the internet. In order to celebrate Qin Youjiao's birthday, the Qing family booked the Platinum Gold Hotel for an entire day. This was a hotel with a standard room price of more than 10,000 yuan. The Qing family had spent so much effort to book the Platinum Gold Hotel. It was probably close to 10 million yuan. 10 million yuan a day. The Qing family's care for Qin Youjiao was indeed shocking. There were even more bragging online. F***ck, F***ck, F***ck Qin Youjiao is too much of a princess. Even if she's not a real princess, someone will make her one. Platinum Gold Hotel. Are you afraid that the Qin family will make a move first? Dog head, the person above is speaking up for the Qin family? Once their biological daughter is here, they don't want their adopted daughter either. Besides, the Qing family's current momentum is better than the Qin family's. Those who say that the Qing family's momentum is better than the Qin family probably don't know how many big projects the new President Qin has collaborated on outside. This time, the Maps of the Gods project is nothing to the Qin family. Okay. The real young lady is awesome, okay? Then let's take a good look at where the Qin family is preparing to celebrate the real young lady's birthday. The Platinum Gold Hotel has already booked the entire place. What else can the Qin family do? Book it a day in advance or a day later? Don't say, I feel like the Qin family really doesn't care that much about the real young lady. Seeing the many speculations and discussions online, Qin Yu's expression changed and he went straight to the Hua Corporation. What's the matter? The man did not even look up and continued to work on his documents. How about you book the Platinum Gold Hotel for me in 2 days? Qin Yu added, I'll double the price. Can't you tell the people below about this? Hearing this, Hua Shidu glanced at him slowly. Qin Yu's expression darkened. It's already been booked. Hua Shidu chuckled carelessly and leaned against the chair leisurely, his indifferent eyes light. Why? Did your love rival book it? No, it's someone even more despicable. Qin Yu's dark tone seemed to be squeezed out from between his teeth. Gu and Qin Youjiao have the same birthday. In order to let Qin Youjiao suppress Gu the Qing family specially booked the Platinum Hotel. Birthday? Hua Shidu's eyebrows moved as he looked at him again. He didn't know that it would be the little girl's birthday in 2 days. Gu didn't tell you? Qin Yu was stunned for a moment before he said with a smile, that's true. Maybe I'm not familiar with you. After saying this, Qin Yu did not feel the indescribable coldness in Hua Shidu's eyes as he looked at him. Help me, Master Du, no matter what. Qin Yu did not want Qin Youjiao to suppress Gu There's no need. Before Qin Yu could react to what Hua Shidu meant, he heard him say slowly. I'll get Sing Su to arrange the location. As for the people you want to invite, you can send them to Sing Su later. I'll get him to send the invitation. Seeing that Hua Shidu was planning to arrange it personally, Qin Yu was relieved. Master Du, are you sure there's a place better than the Platinum Gold Hotel in your family? Qin Yu asked in the end. It's because that piece of land isn't worth much that it was used to build a hotel. The man was calm. Qin Yu was speechless. If he said this, something might happen. Time passed and it was the day of the birthday party. P.S. Be good and remember your monthly votes. Add more chapters every month. Chapter 311. Bei Yunj walked out of Hua Shidu's bedroom and seemed to have heard something in the living room. Assistant Seng? Bei Yunj furrowed her eyebrows and looked at Sing Su in surprise. Why was he here? Miss Pei, I'm here to take you to the birthday party. With that said, Tsing Su could not help but laugh. Miss Pei, happy birthday. Bei Yunja's eyes moved and she remembered that it was her birthday today. Are you taking me to the birthday party? Bei Yunj raised her eyebrows. I'm going back to the old mansion to celebrate my birthday. Miss Pei, Master Du has arranged other locations for you to celebrate your birthday. You can just change your clothes and come with me. At the same time, Qin Yojiao had already changed into her gown. In the suite of Platinum Gold Hotel, she was looking at her dress and choosing jewelry. My Jiao Jiao looks good all the time. The moment Mrs. Qin came over, she could not help praising her. Then, she turned to say to Mrs. Cheng, our Jiao Jiao has really troubled you these few days. What's there to trouble you about? I can't stand the Qin family bullying my future daughter-in-law either. Mrs. Cheng's words made Qin Yojiao blush. I'm the one who's not outstanding enough. That's why my brothers gave up on me. Qin Yojiao's eyes darkened. They're all stubborn. There's no need to speak up for your brothers. Mrs. Cheng walked forward with a smile and patted Qin Yojiao's hand. Jiao Jiao, you still have to rely on yourself to rise to the top. Bei Yunj doesn't have that fate, but you do. She continued, apart from Platinum Gold Hotel, I've also arranged for Mr. Du Shao to be a guest. Hearing this, Qin Yojiao looked up. Elder Du is here? Du Shao was famous both domestically and overseas and was known as the last classical music master left in the world. However, Du Shao had immigrated to our nation with his family when he was 7 and rarely returned to country A, yes. Although it's very difficult to invite Elder Du, but he has heard of your works and thinks that Jiao Jiao's works are very spiritual. Mrs. Cheng smirked and looked at Qin Yojiao in front of her with satisfaction. She wanted to turn the tables for Qin Yojiao so that the Qin family would consider taking Qin Yojiao back. After all, Qin Yojiao was her daughter-in-law and needed the identity of the Qin family's eldest young Miss Moore. As for that useless real young lady, since she had come charging over, she should be prepared to pave the way for Qin Yojiao. Coldness and disdain flashed across Madame Cheng's eyes. When Qin Yojiao heard Du Zhao's name, her originally uneasy heart finally relaxed. Unexpectedly, it was actually Elder Du who came personally. Qin Yojiao could not suppress the excitement in her heart as she thought of Du Shao taking in a disciple recently. If Du Shao was willing to come over, could it be that he had the intention of taking her in? At this moment, there was a heated discussion online because the artiste who had offended Bei Yunj before was invited to Platinum Gold Hotel by Qin Yojiao. It was also because of her envy that Qin Yojiao's birthday party this time was extravagant. God, he spent tens of millions on his birthday, why is there no movement from the Qin family? Xiao Fei, can't you find a better place than the Platinum Gold Hotel? It's probably a gathering at the old mansion. To put it nicely, it's to acknowledge the ancestors. TSK, the real young lady is way too different from Qin Yojiao, within moments. Yu Manran, who had finally settled down recently, started to act up again. Yu Manran, invitation, starry-eyed, picture. The invitation in the picture was from the Qin family and the address of the banquet was even more shocking. Uther residence. Chapter 312. Wait, everyone. Is this the address of Bei Yunja's birthday party? Is Uther residence a hotel? Sorry to disturb you. The ignorant me only knows that this address is the best piece of land developed in the city center. Every inch of land is really expensive, goodbye, ha 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 ha, the person above is too cute. Do you know why that piece of land is the best piece of land developed in the city center? Because it's backed by the Huo Corporation. Super loud, they didn't know much about the Uther residence, but they were aware of the status of the Huo group. F***CK, then Uther residence is on the same level as Platinum Gold Royal Hotel, right? Stop fooling around. Do you know what Uther residence is? Even if you say it's a hotel, I think Uther residence is being scammed. After all, the maintenance fee of Uther residence for a year is about the annual income of an ordinary 5-star hotel. Dog, yes. Platinum Gold Royal Hotel is indeed impressive, but Uther Residence is a famous building from the last century. If it wasn't a private residence, countless people would visit it out of admiration. After understanding this concept, the netizens were silent. They felt that their imagination was limited by poverty. So, how did the Qin family get the owner of this residence to agree to their family's birthday celebration? How much money would this cost? Instantly, the excited Jiao fans fell silent. Only a few netizens could not help feeling jealous. Bai Yunj is the eldest young lady of the Qin family after all. She actually invited a popular female celebrity. It's so degrading. Anti-fans, don't be jealous. No matter what, it's a place you can't enter in your life. The artiste your Qin Yojiao invited is a C-list artiste. Our man is an A-list artiste. What's the matter? Question, acting like a nouveau riche. Are you afraid that you don't know that the Qin family is rich? For Qin Yojiao to receive an invitation to the Neely Ball, it means that she has connections in the industry. Isn't it obvious who's the tacky one now? Those who talk about connections really don't know who the owner of Uther Residence is. Platinum Gold Royal Hotel. Qin Yojiao's expression was a little ugly when she saw the rumors online about Bai Yunj's birthday celebration address. Uther Residence? Mom, do you know that Bai Yunj is going to Uther Residence for her birthday? Mrs. Qin asked. Uther Residence? After Qin Yojiao's explanation, Mrs. Qin was furious as well. She laughed coldly. All right, they said that I was biased back then, but what about themselves? He even booked the Uther Residence. But Jiao, you don't have to worry. Platinum Gold Hotel is good too. Mother Qin caressed her cheek and said with a smile, as the daughter of a prestigious family, it's more important to have connections in the industry. The Qin family was willing to spend money because they doted on Bai Yunj. But connections represented the recognition of Bai Yunj by the outside world. Mom, is Grandpa going to bring someone powerful to Bai Yunj's birthday party? When Mother Qin heard this, she couldn't help but raise her eyebrows and smile. Silly girl, old master does have a lot of connections. But in the past 2 days, I've contacted several of your old master's old friends. They will all come to your birthday party. This situation also proved that even the Qin family's family friends were more inclined towards Qin Yojiao. Although, some of the reasons might be because of the Neely Ball. Qin Yojiao lowered her head, hiding the smugness in her eyes as she restrained the smile on her lips. I understand. Uther Residence. Bai Yunj had just gotten out of the car when she saw a shocking Western classical building. There was a sparkling lake in the surroundings. Nearby, there were fake stone mountains, and far away, there was a misty mountain range. Bai Yunj's eyes landed on the brightly lit residence and she could see the expensive murals inside from afar. Chapter 313. Who booked it? Bai Yunj asked. Miss Pei, this isn't booked by anyone. It's Master Du's private residence. If you like it, you can come and play often in the future. Assistant Singh smiled on the surface, but in fact, he had mixed feelings about Huashida's actions. Actually, the old madam had said that she wanted to leave this residence for Master Du's engagement party. However, in order to dote on Miss Pei, Master Du had no limits and even gave her Uther residence. Bai Yunj was surprised. What about brother? Tseng Su shook his head. I'm not sure either. My mission is to send you to the residence. Then, when Bai Yunj walked into the residence, she realized that all the decorations in the living room were made of expensive antiques. Was such a place suitable for a banquet? Old Master Qin walked over and held Bai Yunj's hand as he appeared in front of everyone. In the blink of an eye, they saw a beautiful and delicate girl walking slowly into their line of sight. Was this the real young lady of the Qin family? Everyone was stunned for a long time. Let me introduce you all. This is my only granddaughter, Bai Yunj. For the past 2 years, she has been sick and has never brought her to meet everyone. With that said, many people clapped and could not help but look at Bai Yunj a few more times. Suddenly, someone sneered, "Old Master Qin, isn't your granddaughter Qin Yojiao? Is it because Miss Pei is back that you can't tolerate Miss Qin Yojiao?" Hearing this, the atmosphere froze. Wasn't she obviously here to cause trouble? However, what was even more surprising was that someone actually agreed. "That's right. I'm afraid Miss Pei can't compare to the glory Miss Qin Yojiao has now. It's not a glorious thing to let the granddaughter you've doted on for almost 20 years leave, right?" Then, the person who spoke first pointed at Bei Yunj. He asked deliberately, "Miss Pei, is all of this because of you?" After that, Bei Yunj chuckled, her slow tone full of impudence. "Sir, if you can't stand it anymore, it's better to change the venue now." For a moment, everyone choked on his words. This new young miss was not to be trifled with. "Miss Pei, it looks like you're not afraid of offending people?" The person who was rebuked had a livid expression. Bei Yunj's eyes were full of mischief. "You shouldn't be the one asking this question, sir." At this moment, no one thought that Bei Yunj would really not leave any face for others. "My little sister was rude. As her big brother, I apologize on her behalf." Qin Luyan's words made the person who had been looking for trouble look better. However, the next moment, Qin Luyan said slowly, "Secretary Qian, go outside and hail a taxi. Send this guest to Platinum Gold Royal Hotel." In an instant, everyone looked at the handsome and calm man in front of them in disbelief. In business, Qin Luyan had always been decisive and never gave anyone face. But a man like Qin Luyan actually doted on his sister? "You want me to leave?" The young and handsome man flew into a rage out of humiliation. He laughed coldly. "Do you think I want to come to such a birthday party?" Then, he turned to look at everyone and said in a disdainful tone, "Everyone, the Qing family has invited many capable people to Miss Qin Yojiao's birthday party. I heard that even the founder of Minglan Corporation, the famous old Mr. Du Shao, is here. Do you really want to stay here?" Chapter 314. The founder of Minglan Corporation? Wasn't this the richest man in D City? Actually, many people originally thought that compared to Bei Yunj and Qin Yojiao was more valuable. At this moment, hearing this, many people's thoughts immediately stirred. "President Qin, I also think that the noble young lady's temper should be changed appropriately. It's just a joke." "Yes, I'm really sorry, Old Master Qin. Everyone's mood has been ruined." Those who planned to leave pushed all the blame onto Bei Yunj. Seeing this, the person who led the trouble glanced at Bei Yunj provocatively when he was about to leave with 7 to 8 guests. This time, he had really completed the task Mrs. Cheng had given him easily. However, just as the man was mocking the Qin family in his heart, the guests who followed him out suddenly felt excited and shocked. "Wait, look at the person walking over from the door. Doesn't she look like Bai Ji?" "What Bai Ji? Do you want a tissue?" "She's the heir of the Bai Corporation." The moment he finished speaking, someone exclaimed, "Why is Ji Yiqing here?" When everyone heard this name, they suddenly sucked in a breath of cold air. Wasn't this the young major of the Ji family? Then, someone noticed something. There are 2 people behind. They look a little familiar. Hearing this, everyone turned back instinctively, but they muttered in their hearts. Could there be someone more important than these 2? But in the next moment, when everyone saw who it was, their legs almost turned to jelly. Bo Yuxiu. Yu Hanran. Why were the people they saw today more and more untouchable than the other? Suddenly, someone caught the main point. Are they here to attend Bei Yunj's birthday party? How is this possible? Someone could not help but mutter. However, they all knew in their hearts that this person had already walked into Yuther residence. Could it be that they had seen the wrong way? Impossible. How could the Qin family invite them? The face of the person who started the trouble first paled. He did not expect such a reversal. However, when Yu Hanran passed by, he glanced at the 7 to 8 petrified people and asked Bo Yushio. What's going on? Could it be that those who didn't bring birthday presents were all chased out? Fortunately, I brought it with me. Yu Hanran held the gift in his hand with a smug expression. Bo Yushio, as for the 7 or 8 people who went out, they were extremely regretful. The people from the Bai Corporation, the Bo Corporation, and the Yu Corporation were all here, but they didn't want such a good network and went out by themselves. The few of them were filled with regret. Looking at the laughter of the guests in the mansion, 2 of them were thick-skinned and already wanted to sneak back. However, they did not expect that there would suddenly be a few more tall and strong security guards outside, eyeing them covetously. Hence, before long, the 2 men returned with their tails between their legs. I can't enter any more. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have followed him out on a whim. The few people who came out couldn't help but regret it. No matter how ostentatious the Qing family was, they only managed to invite Minglan Group, which was ranked 5th on the annual market capitalization list. However, the Qin family already had 3 successors from the top 5 corporations in the country. When they thought of this, the 7 of them were filled with hatred. They couldn't help but look resentfully at the young master of the Ning family who had instigated them to come out. Impossible. Why are they here to celebrate the Qin family's birthday? Chapter 315. As soon as young Master Ning finished speaking, he heard another voice beside him. Mo, hold on to a lass. Today is your sister Pei's birthday. Don't make her unhappy, okay? Old Madame Hua was dressed grandly. Even though she was old, her elegant features still made people feel that she was inviolable. Yes, I have a gift for my sister too. Today, Mo was dressed like a little prince. He even carried a small school bag over and struggled to hold a lass' hand. Then Grandma is relieved. Old Madame Hua heaved a sigh of relief. She had never brought Mo to any banquets before, and this time, it was because of someone's request. When old Madame Hua walked in, the 7 people outside were about to explode. Hua, the old madam of the Hua Corporation? That can't be the young master of the Hua Corporation, right? Doesn't the young master never show his face? Why would he come to Bei Yunja's birthday? Moreover, from the tone of the young master and the old madam, it was obviously because they knew Bei Yunj. At this moment, the few people standing outside in the cold wind wanted to punch themselves. What kind of damned business did they do? Even the old madam and young master of the Hua Corporation were present, at the same time. Not only were the few people outside in the cold wind shocked, but also the guests inside who were trembling in fear. Seeing the sudden arrival of the business big shots, everyone wanted to hide in a corner. Sister Pei, Mo brought a gift. Mo ran in front of Bei Yunj and said excitedly. Bei Yunja's lips curled up. She squatted down gently and looked at him at the same level. You know it's my birthday too. Of course. After saying that, everyone saw the beautiful little boy holding Bei Yunja's hand. With one hand behind his back, he suddenly kissed the back of Bei Yunja's hand. His gentlemanly demeanor made everyone turn upside down. At this moment, Mo's obsidian-like eyes were exceptionally beautiful when he smiled. Today, sister is also a princess. The young ladies below the stage could not help but cover their mouths. Their hearts were about to explode from a child's teasing. Wasn't this young Master Hua too cute? Polite and gentle. He was indeed a top-notch wealthy family. Off stage, old Master Qin was also stunned. This is Madame Hua, right? Io, isn't this your home? Old Madame Hua restrained her impulse and maintained her usual elegance and coldness. She held old Master Qin's hand reservedly. She gently pulled the cloak on her shoulders and smiled gently. Old Mr. Qin, right? Your gu is so lovable. Thank you for your compliment, old Madame Hua. Old Master Qin forced a smile. He did not expect Hua Shidu to bring Bei Yunj to see old Madame Hua. She also did not expect that the Hua family would personally attend Bei Yunja's birthday party. It's not a compliment. I just like this child. In the future, our two families should interact more. Old Madame Hua smiled slightly and quietly dug a hole. Old Master Qin chuckled awkwardly as he sensed something. This is a little embarrassing. There's no need. Look at how much my grandson likes your goo. Old Madame Hua smiled even more gently. But for a moment, Old Master Qin didn't know which grandson Old Madame Hua was referring to. The banquet was lively. However, no one noticed the man who was slowly walking in from the door. P.S. I'm afraid you'll say that I'm stuck. Remember the monthly tickets and recommendation tickets. Chapter 316. The piano sounded. The atmosphere of the banquet became more and more cheerful. Many people started to rejoice that they had come to the Qin family's eldest daughter's birthday banquet. They had really picked up a huge bargain. Not far away, below the stage, a man holding a glass of red wine looked at the girl who looked a little bored not far away. The young lady did not like such occasions. Huashidu smiled silently and was not in a hurry to look for Bei Yunj. Master Du, good move. I've gathered all the people in the upper circle for you. Next time, if your little girl wants the Hua Corporation, will you give it to her too? Yu Hanran teased. He knew that Huashidu would definitely be there, so he had been paying attention to the movements at the door. As expected, he saw this person walk in very naturally. Who knew? Huashidu said casually. How do you know that I haven't given it to her before? Yu Hanran was speechless. Did Master Du still lack a sister? If he didn't care about gender, perhaps he could do it too. This girl is bold to begin with. Aren't you afraid of causing trouble if you pamper her so much? Yu Hanran was indignant. I'll take responsibility for any trouble she causes. President Yu, just look after your sister. Huashidu sneered. His noble and handsome eyes were very superior. After a while, it attracted the attention of many people. That's President Hua. F***ck, what kind of fate does Bei Yunj have? Even Master Du is here. Why didn't anyone say that President Hua is like this? Isn't he a typical refined scum who likes to snipe? Master Du, why don't you go over? Before Yu Hanran could finish speaking, Huashidu walked towards the girl who was cutting the cake. Bei Yunj cut a piece and handed it to Momo. Then, she cut a piece for herself and tasted it. There was a hint of lime cream. It did not seem that greasy and had a faint sweetness. At this moment, Huashidu had just approached when he saw the tip of Bei Yunja's red tongue. She licked her lips gently and even rubbed her index finger against the side of her lips. The man looked away without batting an eyelid. Do you think it's a little noisy? Huashidu saw that she was only chatting with a few friends and Momo. When Bei Yunj saw Huashidu, there was a flicker of light in her eyes, which was especially attractive. Brother, do you want cake? Bei Yunj smiled and quickly cut a piece for Huashidu and handed it to him. However, Huashidu did not reach out to take it and only looked at her. It's very sweet, don't you want to try it? Bei Yunj raised her eyebrows. She knew that this venue and these guests, who were rarely seen, were all the work of this person. Yes. The man suddenly responded. Before Bei Yunj could react, Huashidu suddenly picked up the cake. His noble eyes were lazy and light. Soon after, his slender index finger was stained with cream. Huashidu suddenly chuckled softly, but he casually drew a heart on her cheek. His deep and magnetic voice was lazy and sexy. It does look very sweet. Bei Yunj, Yunyun, what do you wish for? Tell me. Huashidu also tasted some cake, but he was still not interested in this sweet thing. You can't tell others about wishes. Huashidu raised his eyebrows and pinched her face punishingly. What are you talking about, Yunyun? Am I someone else? Bei Yunj glanced at this unreasonable person and explained to him seriously, A wish is a wish made to the gods after blowing out the candles. P.S. Good night, good boys, remember to vote for the monthly recommendation ticket. Chapter 317. Who knew? The man's eyes were clear and noble, but his smile was beautiful. His deep and magnetic voice was filled with laughter, making people blush and their hearts race. Yun, how can a god dote on you as much as I do? Bei Yunja's heart skipped a beat and she quickly changed the topic. Brother, why are you here so late today? I went to pick up an important person. Huashidu put down the cake and picked up the red wine glass again. Bei Yunj stopped his hand. Brother, there's no need to drink at this time. There were so many people now. Huashidu looked drunk, she really did not want others to see him like this. The man bent down again. His eyes were faint and abstinent, but the corners of his upturned eyes were inexplicably seductive. His low and magnetic voice tickled her ear. Then Yun, tell me first, what is your wish? Bei Yunj looked straight at the man. Suddenly, she said, Huashidu. Yes? The light in the hall was gentle and enveloped the man's handsome and superior face. His eyes were filled with light. Suddenly. Not far away, old Master Qin's voice sounded. Brother, I still have something on. I'll leave first. After Bei Yunj came back to her senses, she raised her eyes and turned to leave after speaking to Huashidu. At this moment, Yu Hanran walked over. I just heard that the original eldest daughter of the Qin family specially found someone to cause trouble at your little girl's birthday party and took away many guests. Yes. Yu Hanran did not understand what Huashidu meant. He could not help but ask, what's wrong, Master Du? Are you planning to let her off? Huashidu sneered. His pale-colored eyes were light and cold. I don't like to be calculative, but I have to be calculative on behalf of my little girl. When the guests saw that the people walking over were actually Zhong Xinglin, Director Lin Lanjun, the former principal of Yuncheng, the Dean of Biology of Yuncheng University, and the others, they could not help but widen their eyes. Were they all here to attend Bei Yunja's birthday party? From the successors of the corporation to the big shots in the academic circle. This was a famous scene that they had only seen once in their lives. Grandma. Bei Yunj went up and held Director Lin's hand. Her eyes were curved. Mr. Hua came to pick me up just now, but I wanted to invite a few old friends over, so I asked Mr. Hua to come back first. Director Lin looked at Bei Yunj with a smile, her eyes full of love. She reached out and patted her head. Go, I won't blame Grandma, right? I've never told you about my past. Grandma is a very important person to me. Bei Yunja's lips curved. When Zhong Xinglin heard this, he couldn't help but feel jealous. If he had picked up Bei Yunj back then, he wouldn't have to think of ways to steal her away now. Lanjun is really lucky. Zhong Xinglin sighed and said faintly, I also want a granddaughter. At this time, Bei Yunj turned his attention to the others. Mr. Zhong. The others are. Bei Yunj glanced at the others. The former principal of Yuncheng, the dean of biomedicine, and the current principal, Professor Yu Guang. Director Lin introduced them to Bei Yunj. She was also puzzled. How did Bei Yunj know Zhong Xinglin? This old man was arrogant and had a bad temper. Very few juniors could stand him. After Bei Yunj greeted them one by one, she invited them to sit inside. Qin Lang, who was busy receiving the guests, almost sprained his ankle when he heard this table discussing which faculty Bei Yunj should apply to. Chapter 318. The principals and deans were very enthusiastic. Zhong Xinglin resisted. Why do you want to enroll in physics and biology? Go is suitable for computers. Old Zhong, Go, doesn't know how to use computers. Lin Lanjun frowned. Zhong Xinglin looked at Lin Lanjun in disbelief. He was about to refute when Bei Yunj interrupted him. Grandma, I can learn. Everyone was puzzled when they heard Bei Yunj's words. Why would a girl be interested in computers? Zhong Xinglin was also puzzled. If Bei Yunji's computer skills were not taught by Lin Longjun, then who taught her? Computer skills are very difficult. Daughter, let's change to another one. The dean of biology tried to dissuade her. Zhong Xinglin was speechless. You don't know how good this girl's computer skills are. It's okay. I'm interested. Hearing Bei Yunji's words, the others were speechless. The information faculty had really benefited. However, then, the dean of biology kindly reminded Bei Yunji that she could transfer to another faculty in the first year. Hearing this, Zhong Xinglin had the urge to rush up and kill this old man. There were only 1 or 2 good seedlings in their computer science department. How could he harm them? Platinum Gold Hotel. The guests were discussing and laughing. I heard that there's going to be a big mess at the Qin family. All the guests have run away. What? Isn't she celebrating her birthday at Uther residence? If people are running away, then the charm of the real daughter doesn't seem to work. The other lady couldn't help but cover her mouth and laugh. Yes, I heard that the real daughter has a bad temper. It's a pity that such a beautiful face was given to an ignorant and incompetent person. Otherwise, where do you think the vase came from? That's true. We made the right choice. The lady holding the wine glass smiled proudly. I don't know what the people who went to the Qin family are thinking. Don't tell me they really think that a piece of trash entering the Qin family can bring them any benefits? Just as the 2 ladies were chatting happily, the husband of one of them walked over. Let's go back. The middle-aged man looked a little embarrassed. What's wrong? Did something happen? Why are we going back now? That's right, President Tao. Why did you bring Madame Tao back for no reason? Aren't we still talking about the Qin family? She's really a rich young lady. Before the woman could continue, she saw President Tao's face darken. The Bai Corporation, the Bo Corporation, the Yu Corporation, and the old madam of the Hua Corporation all went to Miss Qin's birthday party. In an instant, the smiles on their faces froze. How was this possible? Impossible. Is there a mistake? Madame Tao immediately asked. Chairman Tao rubbed his eyebrows, feeling regretful. What did I get wrong? Other than them, even Zhong Xinglin, Yu Guang, and those people from the academic world came. This time, I really stood on the wrong side. Until now, the only people Qin Youjiao could really rely on were Du Xiao and the president of Minglan Corporation. But in Bei Yunji, any one of them was a big shot that was usually out of reach. Let's go. President Tao pulled Madame Tao and left with a dark expression. The guests who were also mocking the Qin family in secret soon found out about this news. For a moment, the smiles on their faces froze like stone. How was this possible? A new elder young miss could invite so many immortals to her birthday party? Chapter 319. The people at the banquet were almost unable to laugh anymore. They felt that the people who came here to attend the banquet were fools. Then should we leave? Someone asked hesitantly. There's no need. The president of Minglan Corporation is here, so there's no need to go to Uther residence. Another person retorted. At this moment, everyone suddenly saw the president of Minglan Corporation walk out with a dark expression. Veterans General, what happened to you? Someone went up and asked with a smile. The president of Minglan Corporation glanced at him and gave a fake smile. Uther residence. With that said, the atmosphere froze. However, Qin Youjiao, who was playing the piano upstairs, did not know what had happened downstairs. Hurry up. If Master Du leaves, who else can I talk to about this contract? The Veterans General's expression did not look too good as he rushed to Uther residence with his secretary. As for the others, they could no longer put on a smile. The Veterans General had already run to Uther residence, so why were they staying here? Would they become a joke in the industry in a few days? At this moment, many people's expressions were ugly and they found an excuse to leave. Qin Youjiao, who had just finished playing the piano, could not help but look at Du Xiao and say with a smile, "I've embarrassed myself in front of Elder Du. No, it's already very impressive for you to have this standard at your age." Du Xiao looked at her in admiration. After that, Mrs. Qin said with a smile, "Yes, Jiao Jiao is really born smart in this aspect and likes classical music very much." Du Xiao nodded in satisfaction. In time, she will definitely become someone great. She was indeed a talented young pianist. Mrs. Qin's smile deepened. "I'm relieved to hear Master Du say this. Actually, all these years, Jiao Jiao has always wanted to find a teacher. I wonder if Master Du. The guests downstairs should still be here, right?" Du Zhao's sudden interruption made Mrs. Qin and Qin Youjiao's expressions freeze. They did not know if Du Xiao did it on purpose. Qin Youjiao nodded and said with a smile, "There are many guests downstairs. I'll go with you to greet them." After that, Qin Youjiao led Du Xiao out of the second floor, but who knew that when she reached the first floor, it was a completely different scene. Her expressions suddenly changed. She glanced at the banquet where there were only 7 or 8 people left. "Where are the others?" At this moment, a waiter walked over. "Miss, there are too many guests leaving early today, so, only these few were left." The waiter didn't dare to finish his sentence. However, Qin Youjiao's expression still darkened. How could something like this happen at her birthday party? "Do you know where they went?" Qin Youjiao took a deep breath. "I don't know, but the Veterans General of Minglan Group went to Yuther residence." These words almost made Qin Youjiao break down on the spot. Why would the Veterans General want to go to Yuther residence? This was a big shot that Madame Cheng had painstakingly brought over from the Cheng family. "I understand." Qin Youjiao's face stiffened as she suppressed the anger in her heart. But suddenly, Du Xiao, who hadn't spoken much, asked, "Yuther residence. Is Miss Yumanran there too?" The waiter was stunned for a moment before he nodded instinctively. "Yes." "I'm sorry, Mrs. Qin, Miss Qin Youjiao. I still have something to do at Yuther residence. I'll talk to the two of you when I have the chance in the future. P.S. Be good and remember the monthly ticket." Chapter 320. Qin Youjiao's face paled and she said immediately, "Old Master Du, if there's anything, you can go tomorrow. It's already late. Why don't you stay at Platinum Gold Hotel for the night?" If Du Xiao went too, wouldn't she really become a joke? Who knew? Du Xiao's attitude was firm. "No. I came here this time to ask Miss Yu for an explanation. She kept saying that she was busy, so how can I miss this opportunity?" With that said, Du Xiao ran out without looking back. This scene made the others not dare to speak when they saw Qin Youjiao's expression. Not many people came to attend a birthday party and they were all running to someone else's birthday party. Qin Youjiao's eyes were red and her lips were almost bleeding from biting them. She gritted her teeth. Did Bei Yunj get Big Brother and the rest to do something? Hearing this, the service staff replied softly, "I heard from a lady just now that many new rich people in the business world came from Miss Pei's side. The Bai Corporation, Bo Corporation, Yu Corporation, and Hua Corporation are all there." With that said, not only Qin Youjiao, even Mrs. Qin's face paled. Now they understood that it was indeed not the Qin family who did it, but that person from the Hua family. Perhaps the departure of the Veterans General had something to do with this person from the Hua family. Qin Youjiao's expression was terrible and she could not help but go back to her room and cry. Yuther residence. Du Xiao had just gone over when he saw the Veterans General being stopped at the door. Why isn't the Veterans General going in? The Veterans General's expression did not look too good either. You can't go in without an invitation. Previously, the Qin family had actually asked him if he wanted to come, but the Veterans General had already promised the Qing family, so he had deliberately rejected them. But who knew that there would be such a reversal? Even Master Du had gone to this real young lady's birthday party. I see. Du Xiao called Yu Manran, wanting to ask Yu Manran out. At the same time, Yu Manran's eyelids twitched when she received the call. She looked at Bei Yunj. This Du Xiao has been pestering me for a long time. It's because of your arrangement that he wants to look for you. No. Bei Yunj sat on the sofa calmly, her bright eyes full of charm. Yu Manran chatted with Du Xiao for a while, then covered the microphone and said to Bei Yunj, "They came all the way here, and I was too embarrassed to reject them. Now, I'm still at the entrance of the mansion, and I'm being stopped. Then bring him in first." Bei Yunj frowned without batting an eyelid. All right. Yu Manran quickly walked out and did not expect to see a familiar face. Hey, isn't this our veterans general? You're an artist. Why are you here? The veterans general's face darkened, and he was furious. Previously, the veterans general had wanted to sleep with Yu Manran and was beaten up by Yu Manran. Since then, they had formed a grudge. It's none of your business. Yu Manran smiled, then looked at Du Xiao. Mr. Du, let me bring you in. Why can she bring people in? The veterans general was very dissatisfied. Young lady just called and let Miss Yu's friend in. In an instant, the veterans general's face darkened. He had never been treated like this in his life. After Yu Manran brought people in, even Du Xiao could not help but sigh. Every corner of this mansion could be said to be a work of art. This young lady of the Qin family could celebrate her birthday in such a place. Over here. Yu Manran greeted Bei Yunj and brought people forward. Chapter 321. This is old Mr. Du Xiao. After Yu Manran introduced Bei Yunj, he introduced Du Xiao. This is Bei Yunj. Hello. Bei Yunj smiled and shook hands with Du Xiao. After that, Bei Yunj asked unhurriedly, "May I know why old Mr. Du is looking for me?" These words stunned Du Xiao for a moment. Then, he reacted and widened his eyes in excitement. You are Yuan? When Bei Yunj heard this, he turned around and asked Yu Manran, "Is that my name?" "That's right." Yu Manran said with a serious expression, "You don't know how popular a scientific researcher was a while ago. If you use this name, you will definitely be scolded for trying to gain popularity. So the company asked me to help you change your name. How is it? It sounds pretty good, right?" After Bei Yunj verified it, he turned to look at Du Xiao. "Old Mr. Du, you can speak now. I want to ask if Miss Pei has any interest in developing in the direction of music." Du Xiao was a little nervous. He didn't expect that this popular arranger, Yuan, would be so young. "No, I just need money occasionally." Bei Yunj's words made Yu Manran's eyelids twitch. He didn't expect Bei Yunj to really define arranging as a part-time job. But Miss Pei is very talented. I won't be thick-skinned and say that I want to be Miss Pei's teacher, but if Miss Pei is willing, I'm willing to pave the way for Miss Pei. Du Xiao couldn't help but persuade her. But what benefits will this bring to you, old Mr. Du? Even Yu Manran couldn't help but ask. This was a top musician who was popular both at home and abroad. "I do have a favor to ask of Miss Pei. As the president of the International Musicians Association, I hope that Miss Pei can become a member of our International Musicians Association." Du Xiao smiled helplessly. "I have an obsession. I always hope that the International Musicians Association can have a person from country A. Unfortunately, when I was 6 or 7 years old, I had already migrated. I don't have a proper status. I won't develop in this direction, but if Elder Du thinks that I'm suitable to join the International Musicians Association, I will also consider it." Du Xiao's eyes lit up when he heard that Bei Yunj was willing to give in. "Sure. That's naturally possible." Du Xiao gave Bei Yunj his contact number and smiled from ear to ear. "I'll wait for your good news then, Miss Pei." Bei Yunj watched Du Xiao leave, but there was no emotion in his eyes. "Father Pei, this is an invitation from the president of the International Musicians Association. Are you going or not? Yu Manran had just suppressed his excitement, but after Du Xiao left, he excitedly grabbed Bei Yunji's hand. Once the name of a member of the International Musicians Association was released, it would cause a sensation in the industry. After all, this was the first time the International Musicians Association had extended an invitation to someone from their country. Moreover, the president had personally invited him. Qin Youjiao was sucking up to Du Xiao because she wanted to build a relationship with him. After all, with her current aptitude, she could not enter the International Musicians Association. Think about it. Bei Yunji turned around and walked into the building. Yu Manran, who had caught up from behind, actively put in a good word for Du Xiao. Until the banquet ended. The guests had also arranged their rooms. However, when Bei Yunji pushed open the door of Building 7 of Yuther residence, she found that the lights inside were dim. There seemed to be someone lying on the sofa. Brother? Bei Yunji walked closer and saw the man's figure clearly. The handsome and dignified man was leaning against the sofa lazily. His side profile was well-defined and his facial features were well-defined. Chapter 322. The man leaned against the sofa. The cold fragrance on his body was stained with the smell of alcohol. The 2 buttons on his collar were loose, revealing his exquisite collarbone. His exposed skin seeped into his firm chest that made people blush and their hearts race. It looked like a tempting crime scene. Bei Yunji's long eyelashes fluttered, hiding the thoughts in her eyes and a certain thought that was about to take action. Brother, are you asleep? Bei Yunji asked. However, after a while, the man leaning on the sofa did not move. You're sleeping so soundly. Bei Yunji muttered to herself. She rested her chin on her hand and gently brushed her index finger across the man's eyelashes. Why are you so good-looking? With that said. Suddenly. Bei Yunji's mind replayed what Yu Manran had said last time. The easiest ways to test your feelings are to hold hands, kiss, and make love. Her beautiful face was unreadable, but her gaze landed on the man's thin red lips. Suddenly. Bei Yunji called out softly again, brother? Seeing that there was no movement, Bei Yunji's lips suddenly curved. Her lazy and beautiful eyes made people unable to take their eyes off her. I'm sorry, brother. It's your union's birthday today. I want a birthday present. Bei Yunji's eyes curled up slightly. Her clear eyes looked harmless, but she said without any guilt, then brother, just take it that I secretly took advantage of you. With that said. Bei Yunji could not help but gently hold the man's hand. Her red lips moved closer to his warmth. This was just a very light touch, like a feather falling on the surface of a lake. When Bei Yunji raised her head again, her eyebrows moved. She muttered to herself, I don't seem to feel anything. What was going on? Suddenly. Bei Yunji's fingers seemed to move slightly. She looked up suddenly, her heart beating so fast that she abandoned all distracting thoughts. However, Huashidu did not wake up. Seeing this, Bei Yunji's hanging heart finally relaxed. Sure enough, when a person does something bad, they will definitely feel guilty. Hence, the guilty Bei Yunji could not wake Huashidu up. She could only go upstairs and find a thin blanket to cover the man before going upstairs silently. She didn't realize that her ears had turned red. She also didn't notice that the man on the sofa had slowly opened his eyes. His pair of pale and abstinent eyes had gradually darkened, hiding all the light in them. The next day, Huashidu came down from upstairs and realized that Bei Yunji had already left. Master Du, you didn't sleep last night? Seng Su felt that there was something wrong with Master Du's state. He seemed to have something on his mind. But when he thought about it, he felt that something wasn't right. Master Du had always acted casually and had never taken anything to heart. How could he be troubled? Will the younger generation in your family take the initiative to get close to their elders? The man sitting at the table asked inexplicably with a calm expression. Of course I will. Sang-soo chuckled. I have a niece who really likes me. Then, to what extent would her most intimate actions be? Hwashido's eyes darkened. Kiss me. Sang-soo thought for a while. His little niece, who was 3 or 4 years old, liked to smear saliva on other people's faces. Hwashido fell silent and thought of the little girl's sneaky actions last night. He felt that this action was a little beyond his understanding. So much so that he didn't open his eyes immediately after waking up last night. Master Du, why are you suddenly concerned about this? Sang-soo was stunned. It's nothing. Hwashida glanced at him and said calmly, I just feel that this isn't very good. P.S. Master Du is going to start wooing people. Good guys, remember the monthly ticket. Chapter 323. What's wrong with that? I'm an elder, so it's only right. Hearing this, the man's eyes still looked indifferent, but there was an inexplicable aggressiveness in them. He snorted. Ridiculous. Sang-soo was speechless. As an elder, you have to know your limits. Don't let the younger generation misunderstand. You should give appropriate care. No one knew who Hwashida was talking to. Sang-soo scratched his head in confusion. Misunderstanding? Why would she misunderstand? What could a 3 or 4-year-old niece misunderstand? Go get the car and go to the company first. No emotions could be seen in Hwashido's noble and superior eyes as his tone was light. Yes. After Sang-soo left, Hwashido unconsciously caressed his thin red lips with the back of his fingers. He remembered what happened last night, including that secret kiss. It was as if there was still warmth on his lips. Hwashido hid the emotions in his eyes very well and his expression gradually returned to normal. This time, it was his fault for not paying attention and affecting the little girl's studies. Someone else had placed the child with him, but he had almost led her astray. At this thought, Hwashido felt that the matter was still a little difficult to deal with. He could not tell the little girl openly, or it would hurt her pride. But, Hwashido's current mood was still unclear. However, he could not do something like harming high school students. This morning, the headlines exploded. The Chin and Ching families' birthday banquets were all over the internet. Initially, everyone thought that the Ching family would definitely stand out for Chin Yojiao this time. However, who would have thought that the guests from the Chin family would expose themselves one by one? They were all terrifying, so much so that the anti-fans could not think of a good word for a moment. How could I forget back then? This Bei Yunj was raised by director Lin. She is indeed the elder young miss of the scientific research field. Elder Zhong, Professor Yu Guang, and the rest are all there. It's not just the scientific research field. I know that the Chin family has a lot of connections. However, the successors of the top 5 companies in the country last year all went to Uther residence to report. This is amazing. The big boss seems to have been collected by someone. Goodbye, is there really such a thing? The commenter above is wrong. The CEO of Minglan Corporation was stopped outside and not allowed to enter. I don't know about other things, but Minglan Group? Wasn't it rumored that he went to the Ching family? Originally, I went there. But I don't know why I suddenly ran out of Platinum Gold Royal Hotel and stood in front of Uther residence for 2 hours. The netizens who saw this news could no longer describe their feelings at this moment. Let me reveal something, I guarantee it's true. Last night, the fake daughter invited 2 big shots. After they left, the number of guests could be counted with 2 hands. No way, no way, no way. Is this still the only person invited to our nearly 18 debutante ball? Dog head, is there a need to be jealous? He had to hand it to them. The entire internet was filled with hostility, and they were all worshipping money. So what if she's a real daughter? No matter how highly trash is praised, she's still trash. Yeah, she's not even a fake daughter. Neely's 18th prom invited a fake one, but they didn't invite the real one. She's bragging about the Neely 18 ball again. Jiao Fan, thumbs up, in the piano room. Chu Zhixing was playing the piano. Bei Yunj still didn't sleep well last night. Her eyes were slightly red, but she wasn't sleepy. Instead, she was thinking about what happened last night. Chapter 324. You can even be in a daze? Lu Yuanxi looked at her with a complicated gaze. For the past week, he had been tortured by the sound of the piano and was about to have a heart attack. After Bei Yunj came back to her senses, she looked at Lu Yuanxi and then at Chu Zhixing, who had finished playing. Master Pei, I played well, didn't I? Chu Zhixing didn't know why, but he was very confident in his piano skills. Bei Yunj nodded and said lazily, yes, as I listen, I seem to know how to write my will. Chu Zhixing, Lu Yuanxi, who was beside him, burst out laughing. As expected of Master Pei. He was right to catch her. Fatty Chu had been obsessed with piano practice recently. He dragged him to listen to him play the piano and often felt good about himself. If a ruthless person didn't come, he would think that he was a genius. Nonsense, I have a sister who likes me to play the piano the most. Chu Zhixing frowned. If it were any other time, Bei Yunj might have teased him a little, but now she wasn't in the mood. After that, before Chu Zhixing could ask Bei Yunj persistently, Bei Yunj's phone rang. I'm going to take a call. Bei Yunj walked out and glanced at the caller ID. It was an unfamiliar number. After the call was connected, before Bei Yunj could say anything, she heard an anxious voice. Miss Pei? It's me. I'm Vice President Lin. Director Lin's scandal. I don't know who made the headlines. I'll suppress it for you, but the number of views is too big. It's difficult to suppress it. What? Pei Yunj furrowed her eyebrows as her eyes turned cold. Do you want to take a look for yourself? Vice President Lin took a deep breath and asked carefully. He really didn't have the guts to say anything about Director Lin. Even if he didn't know if it was true or not, many people on the internet had already spread it quickly. After all, because of the topic of Bei Yunj, even Director Lin's attention had increased a lot. Got it, thank you. The temperature in Bei Yunj's eyes gradually turned cold. When Vice President Lin heard this gratitude, he felt inexplicably flattered. Next. Bei Yunj had just hung up the phone when she saw Zhong Xinglin's message. Someone wanted her help and asked for her opinion. Not free. After Bei Yunj replied, she left the school and went to the nearest internet cafe. Computing Institute. I'm sorry. I rejected it. Zhong Xinglin smiled as he looked at the handsome and masculine man in front of him. He had already expected this. With Bei Yunj's temper, it would be impossible for her to agree. Ji Yiqing looked at him and said in a gentle tone, this case is very important to our entire district. Elder Zhong, I sincerely want to borrow it from you. Yiqing, your grandfather and I are old acquaintances. If I can help you, I will naturally help you. But she's not from my institute. Even if she was from my institute, she was groomed to be the successor of the director. Zhong Xinglin's smile didn't reach his eyes. If she doesn't agree to it, I won't force her. Ji Yiqing clenched his fists and pressed the tip of his tongue against his cheek. After a while, he asked again, is there only one person in the entire institute who can help me? Most of the people in the institute are academic. One or two people who know how to track and decipher are not as good as the people under you. Zhong Xinglin smiled again and said, as for giving her a computer, I don't know how well she can control it. Chapter 325. He knew about the Computing Institute because Zhong Xinglin had accidentally bragged about it when he was drinking with old Master Ji 2 days ago. But he didn't expect that Zhong Xinglin treated her like a treasure and didn't want her to have any contact with the war zone. You have high expectations of her. Ji Yiqing smiled. But Grandpa Zhong, this is the first time I'm begging you. Can you help me ask her again? I've been investigating this case for a year and a half, and 2 friends have already died. They have very powerful technical figures behind them, and they always get our information one step ahead of us. Hearing this, a hint of hesitation flashed across Zhong Xinglin's eyes, but he still didn't want Bai Yunj to get involved in this kind of thing. After all, it was too dangerous for Bai Yunj. And it was very easy for vicious criminals to target her. But now that Ji Yiqing had visited several times, he could tell that this matter was already serious. Yiqing, let's talk again when we're free. I still have a meeting to attend. After Zhong Xinglin finished speaking, he patted Ji Yiqing's shoulder and left. It was as if he was afraid that if he stayed any longer, he would really be unable to resist helping Ji Yiqing. Seeing Zhong Xinglin leave, Ji Yiqing's subordinate frowned. Elder Zhong is obviously not such a person. Why won't he even lend us a person? Hui, Elder Zhong can't afford to gamble either. Ji Yiqing's gaze darkened. He understood the importance of the computing institute. Let's go. After leaving the computing institute, Hui, who was beside Ji Yiqing, couldn't help but ask, are we giving up just like that? Since Elder Zhong isn't willing to pull the strings, then I can only come and disturb you. Ji Yiqing said lightly. Internet cafe. Bai Yunja's eyes darkened when she saw the old news about Director Lin online. These photos of Director Lin when she was young looked real. But the person who exposed the news said that Director Lin was a mistress who destroyed other people's families when she was young. As for these photos, they were also taken when she was caught in bed. At this moment, the comments were already at two extremes. One side felt that Director Lin was kind-hearted and wouldn't do such a thing. Otherwise, she wouldn't have done so many good deeds. On the other hand, the other side felt that Principal Lin was only doing this to clear her name. Even the matter of Bai Yunj was brought up again, mocking Director Lin for wanting to marry into a wealthy family. Bai Yunja's eyes darkened. Seeing that the news couldn't die down, he decided to help the technical department. So much so that the technical department, who had been frantically deleting posts after receiving the task, thought that they were seeing things. Why did these posts suddenly disappear? Vice President. The post that we wanted to delete disappeared on its own. The head of the technical department was still in a daze. Vice President Lin was silent for a moment. The person who would do such a thing immediately appeared in his mind. It's okay. It's good that it's gone. You guys can continue with your work. Vice President Lin also took a deep breath. His heart that had been hanging in the air finally relaxed. Fortunately, this ancestor didn't get angry. Bai Yunj flipped through the information she had copied on her phone and went to the computing institute. Meanwhile, Ji Yiqing, who had nothing to do and was sitting in the car, saw a familiar figure. Isn't that Master Du's daughter? Last night, he saw this little girl whispering to Master Du at the birthday party. Today, he actually saw her appear at the institute. Isn't this the real daughter? Huey's tone was a little mocking. The Qin family isn't enough for her to behave atrociously, so they all came here? Chapter 326. Hui. Ji Yiqing glanced at him warningly. No matter what Bai Yunj was, she was still Huashidu's woman. Hui was a little indignant. He looked at Qin Youjiao from the Qin family. She was clearly much better than this ignorant and incompetent real young lady. However, he did not expect the Qin family to be so ruthless. They chased her out directly and even announced it to everyone. She's indeed out of place here, Hui said softly. That has nothing to do with you. The moment Bai Yunj entered the computing institute, she called Director Lin. However, no one answered after ringing for a long time. She seemed to have thought of something and quickened her steps as a trace of coldness flashed past her eyes. However, Si Qingyan, who happened to see Bai Yunj, was frightened by her murderous gaze. Usually, Bai Yunj looked lazy, so much so that he almost forgot that when he first saw her, this person looked like she was not to be trifled with. But now, he did not know who had provoked Bai Yunj. Who are you looking at? Zhong Xinglin came over and asked in confusion. Your baby looks like she wants to kill someone's entire family today. Si Qingyan gloated. Zhong Xinglin's expression darkened and he slapped the back of Si Qingyan's head. Speak more elegantly. There are girls in our institute too. Si Qingyan was perplexed. Really? Did Bei Yunj even count? I'm not going to argue with you. I'll go find Gu. With that said, Zhong Xinglin turned around with a loving smile on his face. Si Qingyan was speechless. This old man was heartless. He did not even think about who had accompanied him for 2 years and never left him. In the research lab, Bei Yunj glanced at the information she had found and called Director Lin's son, Lin Jiannan. After the phone beeped twice, a very drunk man answered her call. Who is it? Bei Yunj sat in front of the long table, her fingers tapping on the table carelessly as she said slowly, Bei Yunj. Where is Grandma? Lin Jiannan smiled when he heard the voice. Yo, you become a phoenix after flying up the branch. You still fancy that old thing Lin Longjun? Oh, I almost forgot. This old thing is very powerful. It's only right for you to curry favor with him. Upon hearing Lin Jiannan's words, Bei Yunj suppressed the coldness in her eyes and repeated, Where? You won't be able to see her. If you want to see her so badly, how about you give me 1,000,000 yuan? Bei Yunj controlled her temper and said casually, 10 million, and I'll take care of Grandma in the future. Of course, she knew what kind of scum Lin Jiannan was. But in any case, this was Principal Lin's son. She had to give him face. Yo, you've really become the daughter of a wealthy family. 10 million is so easy. What a pity, I think it's too little. Lin Jiannan's eyes were filled with greed. I want 50 million. All right, I want him today. Bei Yunj didn't say much to Lin Jiannan. She just asked him to send her the address. The phone call had just ended. A few young men around them who had overheard the conversation between Bei Yunj and Lin Jiannan were itching for money. Brother Nan, how can 50 million be enough? The Qin family's assets are hundreds of millions. Lin Jiannan raised his chin at the crowd. Of course 50 million isn't enough. I'll ask for more after I've spent all my money. In any case, that old thing would definitely take care of him. Brother Nan, why don't we just do something big? A shrewd look flashed across the eyes of the person who spoke. How about we kidnap Bei Yunj together and let the Qin family take the ransom? I heard that Bei Yunj spent hundreds of millions on her birthday party. P.S. My precious child, remember the monthly ticket. Chapter 327. What if that wretched girl calls the police? Lin Jiannan was still worried. Brother Nan, you're Director Lin's son. One of his followers went up to massage Lin Jiannan's shoulders. He laughed and said, Look, that wretched girl gave you 50 million for Director Lin. If you can get a few 100 million, we won't have to worry about the rest of our lives. That's right. The Qin family doesn't lack money anyway. The person next to him agreed. Lin Jiannan was tempted when he heard this. In the end, he sent an address to Bei Yunj. At this moment, the person who had just suggested the plan secretly made a phone call. Mrs. Ning, Lin Jiannan has already planned to kidnap Bei Yunj. We'll proceed according to your plan. That's good. The woman sitting in the bungalow had a calculating and shrewd look in her eyes. Her nails were painted red as she stroked the Persian cat in her arms. How can a person like Lin Longjun enjoy her old age? Continue to instigate Lin Jiannan to personally destroy Bei Yunj. Do you understand? By then, the Qin family will probably go crazy. Don't worry, Mrs. Ning. We'll definitely complete the task you've given us, the person said respectfully. Bei Yunj looked at the address Lin Jiannan sent and laughed ambiguously. Gu, what's wrong? Are you in a bad mood? Zhong Xinglin knocked on the door and walked in gently. Bei Yunj didn't hide anything from Zhong Xinglin and roughly told him about Director Lin. Hearing this, even Zhong Xinglin's face darkened. This matter is most likely related to that person from the Ning family. Back then, she was always against Lan Jun. Lan Jun has a good temper and didn't take it to heart. Zhong Xinglin said coldly, she's already so old, but she's still bringing up old scores. Elder Zhong, I'm going to the abandoned chemical plant in the southern district, Bai Yunj said. I'll get a few people to go with you. Although it was a private place, the higher-ups still sent people to protect them. This was also to prevent criminals from having designs on high-tech products. No need. A dark look flashed past Bai Yunj's eyes. If she brought people over, she wouldn't be able to see what Lin Jianan wanted to do. Okay, be careful. Call me if you need anything. All right. Bai Yunj smiled. At the door, A Hui was surprised to see that Zhong Xinglin had personally escorted Bai Yunj out. Elder Zhong sent her out? Brother Ji, even you don't get such treatment, right? Ai Hui was in disbelief. Ji Yiqing had been staring at Bai Yunj all along. He saw that her expression was indifferent, without any enthusiasm, but she seemed to have a good relationship with Zhong Xinglin. Could she be Elder Zhong's granddaughter? A Hui made a bold guess. Maybe the Qin family had found the wrong person. Don't talk nonsense. As soon as Ji Yiqing finished speaking, he felt Bai Yunj's gaze on him. His entire body froze. At the same time, Zhong Xinglin asked, "What's wrong, Gu-er?" "Elder Zhong, someone's watching us." Bai Yunj smiled faintly, then said to Zhong Xinglin, "You can go back first." Okay. A strange look appeared in Zhong Xinglin's eyes. He glanced at the ordinary car not far away and entered the place without saying a word. After that, Bai Yunj took a taxi and left. She didn't look at Ji Yiqing's side. She scared me to death. I thought she discovered us. A Hui, drive. Follow her. Ji Yiqing instructed. Huh? Aren't we blocking the way? Why should we follow her? A Hui was unwilling. Chapter 328. If you don't leave now, Elder Zhong will whip you with a broom. Ji Yiqing's unhurried words woke Ai Hui up abruptly. He really saw Zhong Xinglin holding a broom and 7 or 8 security guards behind him with electric batons in their hands. They appeared very aggressive. Hui held back his expletives and drove quickly. Bai Yunj was playing with her phone and asked with a smile, "Uncle, can we shake off the car behind us?" "Then sit tight, my daughter. I'll give it a try." Hearing this, the driver put down the thermos cup happily, stepped on the gas pedal, and sped off. Hui, who was behind him, was caught off guard. He saw the taxi disappear after a turn like a sci-fi movie. F***ck. Huey's face turned pale. At this moment, the driver sped off, revealing a large coiling dragon tattoo on his arm. "My daughter, is that a stalker? Do you want me to call the police?" Bai Yunj looked at him with interest. "No need. The southern district is very chaotic, and the chemical plant has been abandoned. If something happens to you, Mom and Dad will be heartbroken. Don't be so reckless," the driver said with an accent. "Okay, thank you, Uncle." Bai Yunj nodded, but she did not hide the laziness in her eyes. After getting out of the car, the driver could not bear it and left her his phone number, asking her to look for him if anything happened. His daughter was quite good-looking. It would be a pity if something happened to her. After that, looking at the note, Bai Yunj smiled. Then, she put it in her pocket and walked to the chemical plant. As for Ji Yiqing, who was left behind, he had to use his connections to find out that Bai Yunj was heading in the direction of the chemical plant. What a disgrace. I'm in an SUV, but I was left behind by that shabby-looking taxi. Hui gritted his teeth. Ji Yiqing ignored him and went into the chemical plant after getting out of the car. At the chemical plant, Bei Yunj saw the chains on the rusty iron gate. She smiled slightly and then pulled it down casually. Then, she walked into the chemical plant. However, when Bei Yunj stepped into the chemical plant, 7 or 8 young men appeared. Seeing this, Bei Yunj smiled even more brightly and lazily. The hand holding the chain directly locked the iron door. Lin Jianan and the others couldn't help but sneer at his actions. "You've got guts, coming here alone. Instead of running, you even locked the door. Aren't we afraid that you'll run away?" Bei Yunja's eyes curved into crescents. Her beautiful eyes were filled with undisguised arrogance. Hearing this, several people laughed out loud. "Brother Nan, your niece is so pretty. Don't try anything funny. We've already kidnapped them. Just get the ransom and don't provoke the Qin family." Lin Jianan was still afraid of the Qin family. It's okay to take a few nude photos, right? Otherwise, why would the Qin clan be afraid? Several young men stared fixedly at Bei Yunj with greedy eyes. "Where is Grandma?" Bei Yunj walked over and saw more than a dozen beer bottles on the ground, but there was no one else around. "If you go back with me obediently, you'll be able to see that old thing." Lin Jianan stared at her gloomily. "Otherwise, don't blame me for letting you down. Did you lie to me on purpose?" No one noticed that Bei Yunja's tone had lost its warmth. "So what? Come with me obediently to take a video and let your brothers come and save you." After Lin Jianan finished speaking, he ordered his men to catch Bei Yunj. However, who thought that Bei Yunj would grab the person's hand? She looked at him playfully and laughed. The next moment, the sound of a broken arm was heard. The atmosphere on the field suddenly became bone-chilling. Chapter 329. The painful howls of their companions made their scalps go numb. They had no time to hide their savage expressions. However, the girl in front of them was still smiling beautifully, but she did not hide the coldness in her voice. "You found a good place. There are no cameras." Bei Yunj grabbed the young man's hair and walked slowly toward them. This scene caused a layer of goosebumps to rise all over everyone's body. Didn't Lin Jianan say that Bei Yunj was timid and would be bullied every day? She was like a living Azura. Which bear's heart and leopard's guts would dare to bully her every day? However, after Lin Jianan came back to his senses, anger rose in his heart. This good-for-nothing actually dared to hit him? "Bei Yunj, you're capable, aren't you? Now, I'll teach you a lesson." Lin Jianan picked up the metal pipe in his hand and walked toward Bei Yunj with a ferocious expression. At this moment, Ji Yiqing, who had rushed over, happened to see this scene. However, before he could do anything, the two of them saw Bei Yunj grab the metal pipe that was swinging towards her and kick that person's abdomen ruthlessly with her knee. Even they, who were outside, could hear the dull sound of the collision clearly. This scene was too horrifying. Brother Ji, she. Ai Hui could not recover from the shock. Ji Yiqing did not speak. Bei Yunj had already stepped on Lin Jianan's head. The playfulness and coldness in her eyes sent chills down the spines of the others. "Uncle Jianan, are you going to tell me?" Bei Yunj smiled gently, but her eyes were arrogant and unruly. The surrounding people almost wanted to climb out of the door and run away. Lin Jianan was Bei Yunja's uncle after all. If they were in her shoes, their skulls would have been cracked by her. You're treating me like this. If my mother finds out." Before Lin Jianan could finish speaking, Bei Yunj kicked him in the back. He rolled back 1 to 2 meters. The scene was too horrifying. "You still want to complain?" Bei Yunj took out a small knife from his pocket and smiled. "So I shouldn't keep you here?" Seeing the vicious look in Bei Yunja's eyes, the people around her became mute. Their legs trembled, and none of them dared to step forward. Usually, they would scam people casually in the poor streets. When had they ever seen such a scene? Lin Jianan couldn't help but scream when he felt the cold blade graze his face. "Let me go." Let me go and I'll tell you where that damned old hag is. After saying this, the knife in Bei Yunji's hand had already slashed across his eyeball, pierced through his sleeve, and pinned it to the ground. The shadow that almost cut off his eyeballs made Lin Jiannan scream. The few people around them could not bear this terrifying scene any longer. They ran straight for the iron gate. How could money be more important than his life? The one from the Qin clan was clearly an evil spirit. Uncle, I'm sorry. I tore your clothes. Bei Yunji apologized slowly, making Lin Jiannan unable to withstand the pressure in his heart and burst into tears. Yunji. They tricked me into doing this. Don't be angry, where's Grandma? She's in Mrs. Ning's hands. Mrs. Ning asked me to secretly kidnap my mother. She was the one who threatened me. Yunji, believe me. Lin Jiannan cried bitterly. But suddenly, with a sound, the lock of the iron gate in the distance was opened. Chapter 330. Bei Yunji looked at him from the corner of her eyes and realized that he looked familiar. She seemed to have seen him last night. Hello, Miss Pei. Ji Yiqing's lips curled up. His young and handsome face became gentler. He didn't look like someone from a war zone. Instead, he looked more like a scholar. Before Hui could mock him, Bei Yunji said slowly, "You must have spent a lot of time looking for me, right? How did you know?" Hui's eyes widened. He didn't expect Bei Yunji to discover them. In the past, even when they were investigating, very few people would discover them. However, the moment he finished speaking, Ji Yiqing, who was beside him, glanced at him coldly. Hui immediately shut his mouth. Sir, save me. This woman is crazy. Lin Jiannan became bolder when he saw Ji Yiqing. He looked at Bei Yunji with hatred. This woman hit my brother and now she wants to hit me. Look at the knife in her hand. Hui looked at Ji Yiqing and said, Brother Ji, Bei Yunji is deliberately hurting you. Before he could finish speaking, Ji Yiqing took a step back and smiled leisurely. Miss Pei, let's talk after you've settled your matter. Lin Jiannan was stunned when he heard this. Hui turned to look at Ji Yiqing in disbelief. Brother Ji, this is against the rules. I'll accept my punishment when we get back. Ji Yiqing was nonchalant and didn't care at all. His main goal now was to find out who it was. It wasn't worth offending Bei Yunji for a hooligan. As long as no one died, she could do whatever she wanted. Hui opened his mouth, but nothing came out in the end. Mr. Ji, you're quite smart. Bei Yunji smirked before her eyes landed lazily on Lin Jiannan. Lin Jiannan sank into fear. Before he could beg for mercy, a blood-curdling scream resounded throughout the chemical plant. It made one's scalp go numb. Even Hui was scared witless when he saw such a young lady being so ruthless. This is the last question. It's a race question. Only the first person to answer will be allowed to leave standing. Without waiting for the others to think, Bei Yunji asked unhurriedly, who was the one who posted the photos and stuff online? Bei Yunji's smile did not reach her eyes. 3, 2, Hong Han. It's Hong Han. I saw him secretly calling Mrs. Ning. One of the smallest of them said without thinking. Bei Yunji glanced at the man, indicating that he could leave. When the others saw this scene, they were envious. Miss Pei, I still have something to say. My account was the one they used to spread the news about me. I can go and clarify it. After the first person rushed to answer, there were immediately others who were unwilling to be left behind. Miss Pei, the phone that Madame Ning used to contact Hong Han was the backup phone. You can check their phone numbers and find their records. Also, they transferred the money to Lin Jiannan's wife. Seeing that everyone had spilled the beans, even Hui could not react in time. Sure enough, hooligans are afraid of bullies, Hui muttered. Lin Jiannan and Hong Han can stay. The rest of you can get lost. After Bei Yunj finished speaking, the others fled like a swarm of bees. Miss Pei, I was instructed to do this. Madame Ning asked me to instigate Lin Jiannan to kidnap Director Lin. She was also the one who wanted to ruin you. Chapter 331. Hong Han's emotions were unstable. Seeing how Bei Yunj had beaten Lin Jiannan up just now, he had a feeling that he would be the next person. Didn't someone mention this just now? Bei Yunj walked over and stepped on his hand, grinding it slowly. Her upturned eyes were filled with coldness. Even Huey's hand hurt when he saw this scene. This Miss Pei was really an evil spirit. Bei Yunj. Miss Pei, I can bring you to Mrs. Ning. Hearing this, the corners of Bei Yunj's lips curled up and she finally stopped using force. Sure. Don't think about running away, unless you don't want these legs anymore. These words made Hong Han heave a sigh of relief. No, that won't happen. It's my honor to work for Miss Pei. Hong Han carefully tried to please her. Mrs. Ning's methods were only superficial. Compared to this person who didn't even talk to you when fighting, she was simply too inferior. He would rather offend that old person than this young one. Soon. Seeing that Bei Yunj had let everyone go and he was the only one left, Lin Jiannan was even more afraid. Yunj, without another word, Bei Yunj kicked his shoulder and Lin Jiannan rolled back. 50 million isn't even enough for you to spend, Uncle Jiannan? Bei Yunj's beautiful eyes became even brighter, but the coldness in her tone was terrifying. It's enough. It's enough, Yunj. Lin Jiannan was filled with regret. This 50 million was enough for him to live a carefree life. When Grandma comes back, I hope you'll disappear on your own accord. Do you understand? Bei Yunj took out a 50 yuan note and stuffed it into his chest pocket. She patted it lightly and her bright eyes curved. Otherwise, I'll chop off one of your fingers every time you and your wife come. How about that? Lin Jiannan was scared out of his wits. I understand. Do you have enough money? Bei Yunj asked with concern. Yes. It's enough. Lin Jiannan limped away with 50 yuan, which wasn't even enough for the taxi fare. After dealing with them, Bei Yunj finally remembered Ji Yiqing. Mr. Ji, why are you looking for me? Miss Pei, do you know him? After Ji Yiqing finished speaking, Hui, who was beside him, blurted out, impossible. Who are they? How could Bei Yunj know her? Bei Yunj was not angry. Instead, he glanced at Hui and smiled. He's right. It's my fault for not teaching him well. Hearing Ji Yiqing's words, Hui knew that he would be punished when he returned. If Mr. Ji really has something to say, you can ask Elder Zhong. There's nothing in this world that can't be done. After Bei Yunj finished speaking, she prepared to leave. Hui could not help but say, that's easy for you to say. Hui, go back and receive your punishment. You don't need to follow me for the rest of the month. Ji Yiqing glanced at him coldly and then caught up with Bei Yunj. Does Miss Pei know about high-tech murder? I don't know. I've seen a futuristic sci-fi movie before. There was a computer expert who could eavesdrop on other people's conversations through the fluctuations in a glass of water in a room. What do you think, Miss Pei? Actually, imagination itself is an existence that has yet to come. Bei Yunj said slowly. Then, Miss Pei, do you think you can do it? Ji Yiqing stared at her. Bei Yunj stopped in her tracks and looked at him with a half-smile. I won't participate in any disputes. Chapter 332. Hui pursed his lips, glanced at Ji Yiqing, and shut his mouth quietly. He glanced at Bei Yunj with disdain. What a joke. She was just a high school student who knew nothing, yet she wanted to meddle in other people's affairs? In the past year and a half, I've taken on a case related to a criminal gang both at home and abroad. Their main source of income is human trafficking and some illegal supplies. Ji Yiqing told Bai Yunj everything without hesitation. Bai Yunj didn't say anything. He didn't know if she was listening, but Ji Yiqing continued to speak. Every time we sent a new spy, he would be found within 3 months. His corpse would be chopped up, packed in a box, and thrown in the square. Ji Yiqing's tone was indifferent, but he clenched his fists. The first spy was my best friend. After he was discovered, his wife and son were also taken away. From the video that they deliberately sent, I saw that he was tied up in an abandoned field and watched helplessly as his wife was humiliated and his son was thrown into a pulverizer. Bai Yunj glanced at him and wiped her hands. After a long time, she said, "So, you guys are very capable." She wasn't someone who would take it as her duty to save others. Some people's feelings for their country could be used to conquer mountains and seas. As for her, she was deeply involved in a mountain of daggers and a sea of flames. In her previous life. When Bai Yunj was young, her antisocial personality attracted the attention of the older generation. Therefore, they told Mother Pei to teach Bai Yunj well. Otherwise, not only would their family not produce a genius, but they might also produce a time bomb. After all, Bai Yunj's talent was very shocking since she was young. The Pei and Meng families couldn't commit such a sin. Hearing Bai Yunj's praise, Ji Yiqing laughed happily. "Let me send Miss Pei back. It's hard to get a taxi here." Ji Yiqing added, "Miss Pei, you don't have to guard against me. I understand some things. Who didn't want to live a stable life and was willing to get involved in such a dangerous matter? Thank you." A trace of emotion flashed past Bai Yunj's eyes. She just smiled and gave Ji Yiqing an address. However, when Ji Yiqing heard this address, he subconsciously glanced at Bai Yunj. "Isn't this where that person lives?" Huashidu came back very early today, but he did not expect to see Bai Yunj. "Mr. Hua, the young lady is at the door. A friend sent her here." When Auntie Miao saw Bai Yunj and Ji Yiqing at the door, she walked in silently and said casually. The man's eyes darkened. He thought that it was one of Bai Yunj's friends from school. But when he walked over to take a look, he didn't expect to see an old acquaintance. At the door, Ji Yiqing's gaze had been fixed on Bai Yunj. He lowered his head and spoke to the girl, his eyes filled with tenderness. As for the beautiful girl, she was as lively and unruly as ever. For some reason, it made people feel that it was somewhat of an eyesore. Huashidu stood not far away. His gaze landed on them without avoiding them as he watched this scene lazily. This was the first time he saw the young master of the Ji family smile so gently at a girl. "Master Du, long time no see." Ji Yiqing wanted to greet Huashidu, but in the next moment, he heard the man ask casually, "Didn't we just meet last night?" Ji Yiqing, why did he feel that the atmosphere was strange? Where did Yunyan go? Why did you ask your elders to send you back? Huashidu turned around and looked at Bai Yunj. Ji Yiqing smiled again and said, "What kind of elder brother is he?" You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.